now that I'm safe from Rona.
We are live. Hello, I'm Eagle, Eagle
Yeah,
Gardens,
homie.
Eagle Gardens 1 on Instagram. And this is fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 198. As my kombucha blast all over. Hopefully, you guys had an amazing, what is it, Tuesday afternoon. Sorry for the being late. I would like to thank my guests in advance for being so gracious to come on, even with the delay. Thank you very much. Nonetheless, a very special episode that we have the Organicist with us here today. How you doing, my friend?
Yeah.
Welcome, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. Super hyped to be here. Yeah, doing great. You know, it's a beautiful harvest season this year. The weather's fantastic and just makes life so much easier when the weather cooperates. We had some challenging times, but like it's all so good. So everything coming out of the valley, all the produce coming out of this valley is going to be amazing with this weather. Super hyped on that for sure.
Nice. Man, I had a pretty amazing day myself. Odd, odd day. I feel like oddly good tonight. Uh, all things said, I feel very zen, if you will, tonight. Uh, actually made it to the tattoo
Okay,
shop.
man. That's what's
Got to hang out with a friend and had a good chat. You know what I mean? Had a nice chat to get some venting out, if you will. And my tattoo guy seems like he's a lot like my therapist a little bit there, but got a little bit of tattoo, a little bit of ink therapy, and in the end, there, man, I left. I felt like I was on top of the world. I really did. I felt like almost greedy. I felt so good. You know what I mean? It's not too often that I take time to do something for myself, but it I felt so good and so light stepped, if you will, and man, I almost felt guilty about feeling so good, and then I kind of hit this like Zen moment where I don't know, I was just feeling everything
well
after
to
that
self-nurture.
moment today.
Well, when you self-nurture, then you can have self-respect, and then when you have self-respect, you can have healthy boundaries, and then when you have healthy boundaries, you can have healthy relationships. So you took time to have self-nurturing, and now you're feeling the vibe of the self-respect for having done that. And now with your healthy boundaries being like, I'm not ready to do the podcast for this long or whatever, if you don't want to do it anymore, then that's what's up. Then we're going to have healthy relationships. So let's get it.
No, it did. It felt good. Very well said, by the way. I mean, you very accurately depicted it there, and I do. I feel very good. I'm very thankful that you were nice enough to hold out and give me the opportunity to tie up my loose ends before I got here, and super grateful for that because I'm ready for an amazing episode, and I think you are as well.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, and I'm definitely down. So, yeah, it's funny. I got a bunch of homies coming into town, so they're going to be coming around through the background, and so you get to see kind of my lifestyle and shit. You know what I mean? So let's get it. You're interviewing me, so it's your balls in your court, homie.
All right, all right. Well, well, this is usually an opportunity to get to know the person that we see on social media and a little bit further about them, and then kind of right up into, where you're at today in life, basically. So that's usually the
Yeah,
format, but you can take it anywhere you'd like to. I know you said you had some stuff prepared, and it's your hour. You talk about
absolutely.
whatever you want,
All right, so
whatever's near and dear to your heart.
all right, so as far as like introducing me and who I am and like what you were saying about the point of this whole interview is so on Instagram, I'm Organarchist. Um, organ meaning organic, anarchist. organic anarchist. So organarchist. Organic meaning, basically encompassing sustainable farming and agriculture and lifestyle. And then anarchist meaning I just don't listen to anyone else's rules and I just do my own thing. And so through that, I'm basically projecting my own like way of life and freedom and way to get to freedom onto everyone that follows me on social media in a way to propagandize them to follow their own path in that regard. So yeah, says it pretty well.
Nice. It's a pretty good lead in, my friend. Pretty good at lead in. So yeah, I appreciate everything about that name and the build up there. So I guess we'll get right going right from the beginning there. How did you get introduced to the plant? When did you get introduced to the plant?
Well, I was through skateboarding. I was a young skateboarder, so I started skateboarding at 11. I built my first skateboard when I was 11, and eventually my parents accepted it, and so I'd skate around. And the older kids that were really like super good and cool skateboarders, they all smoked weed, and I knew the smell of weed, and I like knew what they were doing eventually, and I figured it out. So they were always like, "Get the fuck out of here, little kid," and I was like, but I was like a pretty good skateboarder, and so I was like, like how can I gain the respect of these motherfuckers? So I was in art class, and this is before I even smoked weed or wanted to smoke weed or anything. I was in art class, and one of my friends in art class, he moved to the United States from Canada, and his dad grew weed indoor, and he had like indoor like pine bud, what we would call around that time, but back then I didn't know shit about this. So he was like, "Hey, I want one of those pens that you had. I had these rapidograph pens," and he was like, "How much for one of those pens?" I was like, "You don't have anything I want, dude. I have money and I have pens and like that." And he's like, "How about some of this?" And I was like, "Oh, that's that shit. Those skateboarder people like." I was like, "Here's my pen," and I got like this nug. It was like, like a nice nugget, like 4 inches, like tight, bright green, just fucking beautiful indoor, bro. And I was like, "Oh shit." So I was out and I saw all these fucking cool skateboard kids. They were hanging out by this tennis court, by the edge of this tennis court. And I was like, that's where they were smoking weed. And I was like, "Oh, how about this?" So I knew they were going to rob me. So I just took like a little piece of it. And I kept the rest of it. I don't even know if I had it on me because I kept that shit at the house, but I brought like a little piece. And I was like, "How about this?" And they packed it up and they were like, "Bro, like, where did you get this?" And so I was just trying to gain their respect. And so I went home and I was like, "What is this stuff?" And I smelled it, and a seed came out, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I popped that seed, and so I popped my first seed when I was 15 years old, um, because I was like, "Oh man, these drugs come with their own seeds." Like I never heard of like drugs coming with seeds before. Like all the shit that people told me about drugs, like it didn't have anything to do with nature at all. And I was like, "There's a seed in these drugs. Like I feel good about this, and maybe I can grow these seeds." And then like these cool skateboarder kids, like I'll be able to bring them all kinds of fucking love. And they'll bring me on skateboarding trips or whatever. And I was like, this is the pathway to being able to skate dope shit. People out really good skateboarding, and that's really how I got into weed.
That's pretty crazy. That's and I appreciate the honesty on that too.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
and I
have.
wasn't even about smoking it because I wasn't smoking at all. I was because smoking weed. I was like, I don't want to get fucked up. And I want to be good at skateboarding. Eventually, I started smoking, but yeah, back then it was like not about smoking weed for me at all. Like I was like straight edge, like punk rock, straight edge.
It's hard to say. It's hard to believe those two things even exist. Hard punk rock and straight edge. There, they kind of conflict each other a little
Oh,
bit,
bro,
there,
yeah,
don't
it's
they?
the whole. And
Well,
not
that's
really.
being a
No,
kid,
it
I
was
guess.
for us back then. Well, for us back then, it was like what do we care about? And when you're a little kid, it's like you can't handle drugs and alcohol like you can when you're like a grown ass man and shit. And so we were like, I don't want to get fucked up. Like I want to be able to be the best at punk rock and I want to be the best at skateboarding. And like we saw the people that were getting fucked up on like whatever, and we were like, they pretty much are the worst at skateboarding now, except for those guys that were puffing a little nug, and having a little bit of beer or whatever they were having. Like we were like, these cats are down, but like it was never about getting fucked up for me when I was a kid. It was always about skateboarding. And until I got a little older, moved to North Carolina, and those crazy maniacs taught me how to get fucked up in the proper way.
So, sounds like you were pretty fucking jazzed on the skateboard. Did you take it? Is that something you really took somewhere? I mean, if you got a love for it that deep, sounds like you were ready to just dive in that pool and take it on.
I'm too tall and lanky, so I would never be able to like do. I always got so hurt because I have like long ass like legs and arms. So I just love it, and what I take from it really is just like the tenacity to like jump down a set of stairs or like rack your nuts on a handrail, just all for the sake of getting it. Like it's like you have a goal and you're like, my nuts are in jeopardy, but like I'm totally gonna fucking do it anyway because I just like want to accomplish this. And like I take that tenacity into my garden and everything I do in my life really is from skateboarding. That's really all that matters about the whole conversation as far as me and skateboarding is, that's what really exists now from it, you know, and I highly suggest it. It's a great way to learn about yourself and your limitations and your fears, all that.
Nice, and I'm glad you took all that from it. Still, even not, getting on the board too, because it is definitely pushing the limits of everything you do, and I'm glad that you appreciated of it and took that away, even though that too tall, I guess, in your words, not mine, to get on the board there.
Just to make a career out of it, just to make a career out of it, but fuck that, it's not to be taken too seriously. There's other things in life that you can take, it's up to every person, but it's just fun. It's a cool thing and taught me like what I said, and that's that. I take all that shit to the garden and the rest of it to my life. And, what makes you want to wake up and do anything? Like where do you learn that matters, and like where does that come from? Like where does anyone's drive come from, and like where do we learn to have a drive, and like where does that live, and like where how do you cultivate this? These are very important things that we should all be thinking about, especially as men, because I'm a man. I can't speak for anyone else, but you know, what are we making? What is our next thing? It's very much, I derive from skateboarding.
Oh, I agree too. And again, for me, when I'm speaking on this, it's appreciating the passion. For me, it's about chasing whatever you feel good about, whatever you feel genuine and passionate about. I could care less personally what anybody's truly passionate about it, as long as they're passionate about it. I find myself watching documentaries that I don't even care about sometimes, just because the narrator is so enticing and seems like he's captivated by what he's saying, which makes me want to be captivated to learn. So uh, I appreciate anybody that's passionate about any aspect of their life, as long as they're chasing something that they feel genuine about. Hell, go for it. That's the way I feel about that.
I agree. Yeah, and I was, as an artist, like I made my whole career, like every meal I've pretty much eaten has come from art, and I was a graphic designer for many years, and so
Well, he'll probably be right back. Just a bad signal, I'm sure. Hopefully, it's not me. Hopefully, it's him. It's easier to fix it when it's on their end. There he is. Right back.
Yeah,
There
sorry,
you
I
are.
lost my connection. I have some country lost internet. Yeah, I have some country, yes, but like I was saying, um, um, like I lost my train of thought. I was like, is this going to even work? But yeah, passion. That's what we were talking about. And so inspiration is really the thing. If you can inspire people, I think that's the highest form of art. Like even making a painting is one thing, but inspiring people to paint, I think, is the highest level of art. So I'm in my latter years. I'm focusing on inspiration. So,
Nice, nice. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being an artist. By the way, I think that that's something special, very indeed. Artists can see the beauty in a lot of things that a lot of us miss, and there is a lot of beauty in almost everything. It just needs to be captured in the right way. And more further over on that, what I appreciate about you being an artist is having an imagination. Uh, I think that's where, as we grow older, most people lose that imagination, the ability to see things in their mind's eye, and just in their mind, if you will. And I think that's very key to taking you very far in life. Everything you need, you have to be able to see it actually in your head just as clearly as reality. And so, hopefully, as an artist, that you've managed to master the art of manifestation with that awesome art of being able to see things in your mind there and creativity.
well, it's up to us to decide, what is beautiful to us, and then make sure that happens in our lives. And the things that we look at are beautiful. If you look at a bunch of ugly things in your life, I can only imagine what that's going to be like manifesting in your physical realm. So, because we're prisms, we things come in, stimuli comes into us, and it comes out of us in a certain way. And if you have a good heart, bad things can come into your life, and you can turn it into something beautiful. So that's art in itself, and all the best art, well, not all, that's a bad word, but the majority of the best art is really a transmuting of some type of pain or trauma or stimuli that's agitating in some way, and then onto the medium. And that's just like what it just seems natural to me, this channeling that we do, and it comes out as things. I've definitely made art that people are like, oh, I really like this piece. And I'm like this piece is like it just looks like all of my darkness, and like I don't even want to look at it, and so it's interesting how that all manifests, but it's all transmuting as far as art. And my new favorite art form is plants. It's just like I'm over like the paint and computer and pens, and like I'm painting with living things now, and it's just so much fun.
That's awesome. So you're painting with are you actually painting with things, colors you derived from plants, or are you actually just creating with plants?
No, no, no. By growing gardens, like by having diversity, biodiversity. So having like an herb garden next to the tomatoes, and then the tomatoes next to intermingled with maybe some dill plants, and just the biodiversity of nature. And so it's like it takes the ego out of it, really. Like, so as far as like you go paint a painting, it's like you painted it with the art, like with the brushes from this company and the paints from this company. But with seeds and soil, you're painting these landscapes that are like actually real, and like you can reach into them and like eat food out of them. And it has every bit of the benefits and the feeling of satisfaction of creating something beautiful, and as being an artist. Um, but like the depth, it's the difference of like when you smoke pot or if you eat mushrooms. Okay, so if I like paint a painting, like that's like smoking pot to me. But if I eat mushrooms, that's like gardening to me. Like it's like a whole nother 360-degree painting that actually feeds and
Living.
provides
It's a living
wellness to
painting.
not only the soil, nature, but to my friends. And yeah, and it's truly abundant. So you make a painting and you're like, I sell it for, blah blah blah. Then it's like money, and you get into this whole thing, and you can skip over all that shit and have a three-dimensional landscape piece of art in your garden. Um, so that's my
I
thing
can
now.
picture
Is
it.
that's my art form.
Fascinating. I can just picture like looking out over a yard that you've created, all the colors and everything, the vision you've seen in your head coming to fruition there, and then actually being able to walk out in it. And, like I said, smell the flowers and take in the vision. Uh, be awesome. That's awesome, brother. That's pretty incredible that you see it
And
like
be
that.
able to feed people. So you can also go in there and be like, wow, it's beautiful, and then like I can pick some tomatoes or peppers and give them to someone, or I got cannabis in there, and I can just be like, oh, give away jars to people, and it's the whole purpose of creation is to be able to be generous, and generosity is not possible without abundance. Not possible.
So it makes me curious. It's like every other thing, every other creation, it comes to a finish at some point. So do you like once a season, maybe like clear the slate and start over? Take a picture of it, maybe remember it, or even paint it as it is, and then wipe the slate clean and start a new living picture.
The best way I can describe it, hold on, just give me a second. This is the way to describe it. This is what I. All right, so like that. Okay, so this jar right here represents like probably maybe, I don't know, I'm not good at math, but like probably 20 pounds of peppers. So this jar right here is the art now, and I can smell it. So yeah. So why make a painting why make a painting when I can just have a jar of spices that I can give away to people? And I'm not saying don't do paintings. I'm saying, it sure is fun to create with nature because you get jars like this. If you could smell this right now, bro, like hit me, like I'll send you, now that I'm tantalizing you with this jar of delicious spices, um, I'll send you some so that you're not going to miss out on this. Like I'm not trying to like troll you up and leave you hanging. Like I'll plug you on this, and then you can swing back and be like, okay, that shit was fire. Yeah.
Yeah, if anything, I'd like to just like you said, put my nose to it and see if I can't picture the garden there, if you will, see the picture. I
Well,
totally get that
at
aspect of
Organarchit,
it. Uh, that's but that's like just in your vision, though. You know what I mean? As you smell that jar, you get to take it in and remember it as it were, to where you could have, it could be multiple art. You could still paint it, and then get the keep the benefit for the jar, almost like a
oh
scratch and
yeah,
sniff
yeah,
as you
yeah,
look
no,
out on
totally,
it. It sounds like
totally.
a
Oh, I share pictures of it
sounds.
on the internet. Like I'm about, oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm saying like, the whole reason we got into this tangent is like, you asked me about a couple of things. I was like, yeah, I used to be an artist, and now I'm a fucking farmer, and I farm with plants, and I do art with plants, and like that's what I'm up to. That's all. I love all
It
art
sounds like a
forms. Ice skating.
and I love this aspect of it. To me, it sounds like a Buddhist Zen garden, like you're making this sand art in your yard or whatever, appreciating it, and then I don't know if they take a picture of it or not, but I know they destroy it daily. They work hours on this beautiful piece, and then they appreciate it, and then whoosh, it's gone just as quickly as
Absolutely.
it came.
So the frost comes and takes everything out. And I go out one night or one morning and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check on my peppers. And like, oh, there was a frost and everything's like necrosis out. And it's like shit. And I go pick as many peppers as I can or tomatoes. And then it's over. And the season just over at that point. There's nothing you can do. And yeah, it's very much like the mandalas that you're talking about. You know, you make a mandala at low tide, and the tide comes up and washes it away. And you know, whether you take a photo of it or not, that thing's gone. You know, so it's very much like that Buddhist shit, man, for real, dude. Like very much like that. Yeah, and it is a meditation in a certain extent because you plant the seed and you have this anxiety of harvesting, and you go to sleep and you're like, when is it going to be ready? And you're like, like in like 7 months, you know, and it's just like you get on another time schedule. So like, you know, the Gregorian calendar and the tick tock clearance of the fucking wristwatch and all that bullshit. Um, when you get in touch with nature and nature's timeline, at first for me, I was like, hurry up, nature. And I was like, no, that's just vestigial memories of like my office boy, hurry up, office boy, and get to work and hurry up and get back from lunch. And I was like, that's attached to me from some shit that does not work. I was like, I'm gonna attach myself to some shit that does work. The Apple's like, I'll be ready when I'm ready, motherfucker. Like, you can't rush an Apple. And if you do, it's gonna be shitty. So getting on another time schedule, you know, healthy and good. Highly suggest it. It's not as difficult as you think. You got the balls to do it. Jump, go. Yeah, fucking time. Time is a form of slavery.
It is. I can see that. I can see that, especially in this moment of zen that I'm having tonight for some reason. It's really weird how it just kind of came on tonight at full force, man. I didn't even see it coming. I just found myself in this weird zen place. Sometimes I wonder, like, as I get tattooed, if I take on some of the meanings of the ink, or you know what I mean. Some of the moments I'm putting on my body, if I don't take some of that in. I don't know. It might sound weird, but mm, it's a it's a weird
Doesn't
day,
sound
that's for
weird.
sure.
So I've dated a couple of massage therapists in my life, and what they've taught me was they were like, every time someone has a tattoo, they always have a tattoo in a place that they've experienced trauma. So, you know, some people have experienced trauma localized, like, oh, they broke their knee, or broke their elbow, and you'll have like a tattoo on that area. And this is from healers that taught me this, you know, and I was like, I looked at where my tattoos are, and I'm like, yeah, my first tattoos were on my knees, where I really like hurt myself a lot skateboarding, and then like I got a tattoo on my wrist, and I was like, why is that? Because I hurt myself, like broke this wrist so many times. And so I'm doing it. So can't say it for everybody, you know, but these healers taught me that. They were like, pretty much everyone where I work on them and I feel an adhesion or some type of complication or some type of trauma, usually that's where their tattoo is. So just something to share with you. Don't know if it has any validity. I'm not like a physical healer like that. But these motherfuckers were legit.
No, you seem to be a genuinely complex dude, though, and I can appreciate it. I can appreciate it. So let's get back, I guess, to the beginning. It sounds like you were the organicist from the get. You know, the anarchy part of you and the skateboard aspect a little bit, and finding that seed and that bud. It sounds like the two you were named right from the get there, almost. So you want to maybe tell us about that, growing experience, and walk us up a little bit through that part of it.
Yeah. So as far as the name goes, like so I didn't name myself that, but like as far as the anarchist part, like when I was a kid, like when I would skate, like we would get like busted by police, and we would be like like we had like no respect for authority because we were like getting like persecuted for our art form, you know. And then like that was just getting me ready to be persecuted for my next art form, which was growing cannabis. So it was like boom, boom. It was so fucking obvious. It was the same thing. So I would take my skateboard and I would jump off a curb, and people would be like, "You can't do this in front of this bagel shop." And then I would be like growing weed or whatever, and it'd be like, "You can't do this in this apartment or whatever." And it was like the same fucking shit over and over again. Like, you can't do this, we're not ready for this, you're ahead of your time, like the whole culture that you are, like that you're a part of, like you're all just too far ahead of your time, and like now we're gonna fucking persecute. It was the same exact fucking vibe, like, same vibe. So as far as Organarchist, my friend Brian Martin named me that. He was like, "Dude, you're like an organic anarchist. You're organicist." And I was like, "All right, yeah, I'm taking that." So my friend Brian Martin, he's got Soul Kitchen on Instagram, and he makes like dankered hot sauces and shit. And I love that guy. Yeah, so check him out, Brian Martin. Yeah, Soul Kitchen. So he named me. You know, that's how it came about.
Man, pretty fitting seeing how he must have known the beginning story because it seems to apply right from the get.
Oh, bro. Oh, I met him in North Carolina when I was like, I was doing a bunch of scandalous ass shit, bro. And he was a youngin, and he was just coming up, and I was like trying to look out for him, but also I was like, bro, these quaaludes are fire.
Nice. So, how did you start out growing there? Was it organic from the get? I mean, how was that first grow going?
Okay, so my first seed I ever popped was in a terrarium. Um, okay, I was 15 years old, and I didn't know I've never seen a pot plant. I had never seen a picture of any. Like, I knew absolutely fucking nothing, but I knew about terrariums. So I was like, well, I'll just throw a seed in there. So I had this jug, like one of those like hobo jugs, and I threw a seed in there. There was a little pot plant in there, and it started growing in this. And I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. Not thinking I would have to, like, no idea. And my mom caught me, and she was like, "What? This is pot?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" So then I was like, "All right, I got to do this outside." And just to be clear, like, I was so terrible at it. Like, I would say for the majority of my life, like, I've spent that time like like breeding hermy terrible shit, picking shit early, growing with Miracle Grow, growing with like the wrong lights in attics where it was hot. Like, man, I did everything wrong, bro. Like, in my growing career, I did everything wrong. I mean, and I got in trouble a lot too. Like, I got always in trouble, and like I never felt stable, you know. Here's the thing about cannabis is there's two sides of it. There's the cultivation of cannabis, and then there's like the business side of cannabis. And I was like, I'm ready for the business side of cannabis when I was a kid, and but I had nothing to, like, I had no cultivation skills whatsoever. I was not a farmer. I was a fucking bum, you know. And so it took me like the majority of my life not being able to grow cannabis and like learning about soil biology so I can grow vegetables, and then I came back to cannabis, and that's when I was actually successful. Also because I live in Oregon and we're allowed to grow, you know, plants, and you write stuff on paper and give them $120, and you're allowed to grow more plants, whatever. That never existed when I was a kid, and you know, and I definitely paid the price for all that shit. You know? But you know, I made all my mistakes when I was younger, so that way when I had the opportunity to do it right, I was ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Nobody's good at it the first time, by the way. We all stumble and fall, and that's how lessons are learned. Most valuable lessons
I
are
think
in
it's easier.
stumbling and falling.
I think it's easier to be good at it out the gate right now because check this out, homie. Like back in the day when I was started growing, like we didn't have platforms like this. So like if somebody like let's just say somebody buys packs of seeds from me or whatever, they're like, I don't know how to grow or whatever. Like, they're not like I would do it, but I'm saying like there is the opportunity to be like, here's how you can cultivate plants. Like you can teach people about soil biology and like all these things. Really, if you teach someone about soil biology and you just like throw any seed in the ground, it's going to thrive. Typically, there's some nuance around seasons and temperatures and whatnot, but for the most part, it's really about soil biology and genetics. So the soil you have, and then what seed you throw in there, pretty much that's it. We didn't have that back then. We didn't have like these resources, and so that's why I was so unsuccessful for so long. And now that we have all these resources, we can totally crush. It's a lot, it's a lot like just about anything. Like even like rock climbing. You see somebody like do some crazy fucking thing rock climbing on Instagram, and you're like, I never knew we could do that. And then you like start doing this rock climbing, and then like everyone fucking does it. It like makes it normal when everyone sees that level, and then you can share that intelligence. We've just never had anything like this at all. I mean, we're live, bro. Like on a podcast sharing information. Um, it's written to the annals of the world. You know, the Akashic record of fucking cannabis, whatever we're going to talk about. So,
That's a wicked point there. I wonder if we, in some cultures say we live all right now, past, present, future, all right now. So, and you brought up that Akashic record, which I believe in too. I can't help but wonder if we're living in the past, the present, and the future. If the internet isn't the beginning of the Akashic record that we will later learn to access or call the Akashic record, you know what I mean? If this isn't phase one of it, you know, could be.
yeah, well, I mean, it's just like a baby Akashic record, just proof that there could be an infinite database of all energy and information that we could tap into. It's just like a little reminder that it's possible. If you want to take it further than that, be like, wow, we could do that at a higher level. Then yeah, of course, like certain people think like, wow, if it can be here, why wouldn't it be this and this and this? Of course, absolutely.
Oh, I definitely think there's an Akashic record. It's just a matter of being able to access it, putting yourself into a place where you can access it. Maybe relax your mind or get into the right frequency. I think that's it. Basically, it's the frequency part of it. Just being able to let your mind tune in to that according frequency. I think we're just kind of locked into a baby frequency, if you will.
Well, you ever fuck with this like pineal gland and uh, like fluoride and calcification of the pineal gland and like what does the pineal gland do? Like you ever fuck with that pineal gland shit? So apparently, the pineal gland is meant for us to connect to a higher power. So whatever that higher power is, let's not even get into that shit. But what I'm saying is, it's our antenna. It's our third eye. It's our antenna. So we can calcify our pineal gland and picture what that means. It's like Adobe spread on our connection, our antenna, and to remove that, for me in my life personally, like when I started studying some like fucking crazy shit, like all this, I was like a neophyte to it, but I was like, okay, stop poisoning yourself at a baseline. Just stop poisoning yourself and see what happens. And man, what a change that was. So I started showering in well water, only no showering in like, poison chlorine, which kills all of your natural bacteria in your body, fluoride being sprayed on the largest organ of your body, which is your skin, goes right in. So even if you don't drink the water at your apartment or wherever you live, it's being sprayed on you all the time. It's going in you at the highest level, even higher levels than drink. It doesn't have to be drink. And when I started doing that, I started taking iodine to like actually decalcify my pineal gland, nascent iodine. It changed my life. I was able to manifest things way quicker because of my connection to spirit. Yeah,
Oh, I believe that. I believe that.
I
I
highly
just want
suggest
to
it. Life should be,
hit Che.
life should be easier than what most people experience.
Very much so. We make it more difficult than it really is. We should just kind of, in some instances,
It's
just
made difficult for
be
us
good with where we're
because
at.
we admit that we're slaves. Be good with where we're at, but you're not a slave. We're not slaves. We're beautiful individual spirits that bring a lot to this earth and this planet. We bring so much, and we're taught to be, oh, we're polluters, we're this, we're that, blah blah blah. Always in guilt and fear mode, but never able to like really shine. You know, like how many people do you know where you can be like, you can really unabashedly be like, I'm really proud of myself for something that I accomplished today, and they won't fucking hate them you know now I have that in my life because I've been cultivating it. And when my friends come to me and they're like, I did something great, I'm like, let's sit down, tell me how awesome your day was and you how awesome you are, because you're bringing something to this earth, you're bringing something to this community, you're bringing something to the table. And it's very rare that people are, it'll sound like, oh, you're being egotistical, or, it can be so easily shut down. We should be celebrating each other's accomplishments, like at a high level. And even if you're like, wow, you did this little thing, make a big deal of it, because maybe the next day they're going to do something else big, bigger, 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 and then the world's a better place. You got to hold each other up. Rise the tide, it rises all boats, man. You know, rise the tide, all boats rise, whether they like it or not. That's some shit. We got to get on that shit. We're on some hella division ass bullshit, and that's some fuck shit. It's all about we are all one. The reason why people disagree on this shit is because they are a reflection of you, and they are only there so that you can say, I don't like that, so that you can have this experience. If nobody was doing that kind of thing, you'd say, oh, I don't like that. I believe in this. You would never have an opportunity to say, I believe in this. No one would have to talk. We could all just sit here in a circle, drink nettle tea in full lotus, and go, oh, and that would be that. But no, we need these people. So I'm thankful for those people. When I see somebody being a fuck card, I'm like, man, I appreciate you, bro.
That's a pretty good attitude, man. I just wanted to address here in chat.
Try it.
Just
Try it.
sometimes, just sometimes I hit chat just because they're you put it out there. Comments are public, and just because you put it out there, don't mean I don't see it. But I'm not. I can see you're joking here when you said this, but you said, uh, "We in church here. We we in church." Uh, well, in a way, maybe yeah, maybe not. Uh, Cannabis is, as
Yeah, man.
I'm learning to
Church,
be, is
church and
very
laboratory.
spiritual. Can be very spiritual, and even more so. It kind of is what I'm realizing to be a very steward of. I'm thinking it's almost set here to put us into the right state of mind in a roundabout way. You know, as I'm going through my cannabis journey here, and I'm a salt grower, I've been back and forth through my methods and my means. But as I'm at this point in my career, I'm starting to realize that organics probably is the most smart way. So cannabis is leading me to organics and composting and everything else. But then as I get to that far, I'm realizing,
Oh,
as
let's get it.
you've stated earlier, oh, I'm a fucktard. I'm like fucking the earth up. I need to start fixing things as I go along. And, so it is very
I
spiritual,
didn't ever call you that.
cannabis.
I didn't call you a fucktard.
No, 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 no,
But
no,
I
no.
never
Those were
called you
my
a
words.
fucktard.
No, no, those were my words.
Okay, but I just like I don't disrespect people, though. It's very important. So I just want to keep that clear. But what you're saying is this, and this is the important part, is through your growing experience and your passion for growing and your passion for this plant, you're starting to be like, I can do better. And then like the I can do better mentality, like evoked some type of like thing from when someone in your past told you that you could do better, but didn't tell you in a really healthy way. You know, like so so let's just get past that shit and be like, you're not a fucktard for salt growing. Okay. There was a time and a place for that shit. It was hella illegal. We had to get what we had to get. You couldn't have no-till soil pot 45s with 1,000-watt lights everywhere. You had to break shit down quick, like, and clean it up and fucking reset it somewhere else. And they did this to us by making it illegal. So my homie, all right, so right here on the television, you know what I'm saying? Let's just go ahead and let that shit go. All right. Here's why. You would have been an organic grower from the start if it wasn't for Prohibition. Because you would have just thrown seeds in the woods, culled the males, kept the dankest female, and it would have been riding, and that's called no-till dry farming. So you would have been a no-till dry farmer on your first day of cannabis if it wasn't illegal. How do you feel about that?
Misled. We have to think about it like that. It's a matter of being misled. Taken down the wrong road, forced
Yeah, man.
into
Because it's
something
fucking
bad.
illegal. Yeah, it was the problems with making cannabis illegal caused more problems for people than cannabis itself, and we all know this now. It's just true. More harm has been done by cannabis prohibition than cannabis itself. Yes, we all know some people that started smoking a lot of pot when they were young, and they're like kind of fucking not there anymore. Like they were probably not going to be there anyway. So we don't know that. But when I look at those people, I think about like, all right, this cat like is basically like slow because as his brain was developing, he was smoking way too much cannabis early on, and he that makes an impact. It's true. I don't think people should smoke cannabis until they're like old enough to need cannabis, because when you're young, the fuck you got going wrong in your life, motherfucker? You're like a little kid. Go play blocks. Like you're already tripping anyway. Like you're already high. You don't need weed. Wait till you're like, a plumber. You're like, oh, all right, honey, I'll be back in a while. I'm going to go do some plumbing. And then you're on your way back and you're like, I hate my life and I love my wife and my kids and I'm mad at my boss. And you smoke a little weed and then, you go back and you're like, hey, family, wait for that shit. I'm not a plumber, I'm not projecting. I'm saying like, there's a time and a place for that shit. If kids got to smoke weed, man, we got to look into like how we're failing them as parents, man. Kids don't need to get high on drugs. Like kids have all the drugs inside of them, like outrageous. Like, remember when you were a kid, you like jump off a bridge into the water and you're like, that's the highest I ever been in my fucking life, And then when you get to be an adult, you're like, well, that acid was actually, no, jumping off the bridge was the highest for sure.
both of them unlocked some doors, I'm sure. Both of them did, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's incremental unlocking, bro.
I'm definitely an advocate of psychedelics as well. Um, in time and place, like you say, like saying there, that early on in life, I guess I'm a little on the fence there too, because I'd almost rather see that a psychedelic experience first than the cannabis, to be honest with you. To see that door, that metal door unlocked to release the next phase of your mind there. I believe there's a lot of borders that are put up that are you don't access until something unlocks them. It could be a physical event that just scares you the hell out, or something that unlocks that door. But sometimes it's as easy as an instance with psychedelics to unlock that first time, and sometimes them are doors that need to be unlocked.
Yeah, but would
Some
you
people
ever
don't
trip?
unlock them till later.
Would you ever trip psychedelic? Would you ever trip psychedelics without having weed? So if somebody's like, "Here's a bag of mushrooms," or like, "Here's some acid or whatever," and like, but you like have no weed, like, would you take those psychedelics without having any weed?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I did back in the day, that's for sure. I did start pretty young on them. I think, I think it
Fuck.
turned out right in the end. Depending on who you're
Oh,
talking
Mama
to, I think it
Ganja.
turned out right.
You know, it's Mama Ganja, baby. Yeah. Yeah, it's all, man. Mama Ganja. Do you want to
So
talk
this has been very
genetics now?
interesting.
You want to get into some fucking.
Yeah, yeah. I was just getting ready to say that as far as the getting to know you part of the aspect of the interview, it's pretty well over. I think I you've done it revealed yourself to be a very intellectual, amazing guy on my end. I'm very stoked about meeting you. You seemed like a fascinating guy that I could speak with for quite some time and learn a lot from, to be honest with you. So, yeah, at this point, roll with it. Like I told you in the beginning, this is your hour. We've gotten to know you some. So, if you want to take this in any direction you want to go, you want to teach us some, you want to show us the organic way, let's go. I'm ready, my friend. Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. So I've got like what I would consider like a whiteboard, but it's really a brown board. It's a box that I got this Mac computer in, and I was gonna go to Bimart today and get like a whiteboard, but I was like, man, I just don't feel like fucking going to Bimart, and like I had a bunch of fucking projects to deal with. So let's see how this works out. This might be kind of funny. So hold on.
You can screen
It
share
should
if
be
you need to
good.
screen share. I've given you that ability, and I will highlight you while you're talking, so
Oh yeah,
we can see a
yeah.
bit.
I hope
Okay.
I've been screen sharing.
Oh yeah, we've both been on camera, but right now you're the main picture since you've got the board going.
Ooh. I think this might work. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, like that. Hold on just a second. I'm going to make this work out. There we go.
That's a different screen name. That's a shitty screen name right there.
Ooh.
Somebody's got "I hope you get cancer" on here as the screen name.
Oh, man, that's fucked up. Well,
Yeah, they
if
get
that happens, then, RSO. RSO can
right.
heal that. They may be projecting. Projecting is an epidemic. It really is. It's like karma, but like for millennials.
Well, I hope you get cancer. You've been timed out by me for 300 seconds. Hopefully, you can change your tune a little bit and hope we don't get cancer.
All right. So, do you want to talk about soil food web or about
Please.
my genetics that I've been breeding? Which one? Soil food web or
Either
my
or.
genetics? You got a choice.
I like
You're running
genetics,
the
but
show.
I think everybody else wants to hear about the soil food well.
Okay, let's do genetics. Yeah, but here's the thing about the genetics is this: there's a lot of questions. Like, this is a great opportunity for me to describe to all the people that like have been swooping my genetics, like what is really in this shit. And so that's why I broke out this box and this Sharpie. So I'm just gonna go for it. So the beginning of like all these projects, I'm gonna start with like, so at the bottom of this is going to be all of what I have like available as far as seeds and like what's going on and like why. You're going to get like the whole fucking download. So here it is. So it really started with it all started with this Sour Master Chem. I don't know if you can see that, but we'll be able to try and it's going to be a lot of squares. So Sour Master Chem was Sour Diesel Master Kush times Chem Dog. I got that cut from my buddy Amani. I was breeding and I was like, I don't have enough gas in my shit. And he was like, he found this branch and he was like, oh, it's Sour Diesel Master Kush Chem Dog. And it was pollinated by Chem Dog. And I was like, holy fucking shit. So then I had Blissful Wizard. So at the same time, I was growing Blissful Wizard. And I pulled the males out and I threw one of them in the compost. I was like, I just threw it in the fucking compost and it started growing and then started dumping pollen. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to hit this Sour Master Chem that I was growing outdoor with this Blissful Wizard. And that's how I made what's called Ripcord. So that's how Ripcord was made. Now, Ripcord is like always, it's like creamy gas. It's the easiest pheno hunt ever. It's so fucking simple. Like, you ever pop a pack of seeds and it's like, some are bananas, some are lime, some are like, it's like fucking all over the place. Like this cross, like really like made it super easy. But then I did Ripcord times Ripcord. So RC times RC. And then that was F2. So I made an F2. And it's not really an F2. We call it that nowadays, and it's not even correct. It's not an F2. It's really an inline bred male and a female from the second generation of the F1, which is an actual F1. I know this gets complicated, but this is really the true story. And so then once that happened, the Ripcord F2s were banging. So I was like, I'm going to hit that shit to like, I need to cross this. So I had a bunch of females, little tiny clones, and then I hit the Ripcord F2 to meat breath. So that right here was like some shit. Now, anyone who follows me on Instagram will see that meat breath male that I used, and they'll be like, holy fucking shit. And that was truck stop. So that's how truck stop got made. So we're just going to pause here for a second because that's a lot to fucking digest. But this is the truth of the matter here that's going down. Sour Master Chem times Blissful Wizard. Now, Blissful Wizard is Whitefire Alien OG times Girl Scout cookies back crossed into Girl Scout cookies. That's what Wiz is. This shit is fire. It's a cookies cross. This is a non-cookies cross, and that's what Ripcord F1 was. And so here we are. So this meat breath male, the only reason I brought this meat breath male into this whole deal was one of my homies was like, bro, I have 4 meat breath males, might even 5. And you can have any one of these because I don't, and I was like, I want that one. He's like, of course you do. And that thing was such a fucking beast. And that's why I brought it back into my own shit. And that's how we made Truck Stop. Now, then, after that, I took a Truck Stop male and then I crossed that into like so many different fucking things because the Ripcord F2 times meat breath was so fucking gas. And I'm just going to stop it here because I'm going to overwhelm everyone with genetics and it gets boring after this. That's really the story. That's the most important part of the story. So basically, after that, it was like the Truck Stop male times everything. So I hit it times Chem Scout glue, hit it times beefcake, hit it to everything. And the whole point of the whole thing was to make like a super easy phenol. So the only reason I breed cannabis, like, is, well, not the only reason, but one of the reasons is because the easy phenolants. If hunting a pack of seeds that's like all over the place, it's so frustrating, man. Like, I just don't think it's fair. Like when you have like a little one LED lighter and you can grow like 2 or 3 plants in your apartment or whatever, and you're like, and you end up like, it all tastes like fucking ass, and you're like, fuck, like that's not fair to people, you know. So I think it's responsible to make sure when you're breeding, like to keep it homogeneous as far as terps go, and if you are going to go outside the line and go way out there, like I'm going to bring strawberry into this line, then just be responsible with it and like, you know, work it a little bit to make sure that it really came out like that. A great example of that is Gorilla Glue. If you add Gorilla Glue to any cut, like any breeding project, it's going to be all over the fucking place. Gorilla Glue 4 is the only Gorilla Glue that's worth a fuck, and every other Gorilla Glue is fucking ass. And so when you cross anything to Gorilla Glue, you are in for a fucking hella hunt, and it's not even fair to people. That's why I don't breed with that.
I
Take a deep breath here and let you speak.
Well, I appreciate you showing the importance of a good male there. In your opinion, what all does the male bring to a nice breeding project? I know a good male is very important myself, but for those who might not understand, what do you, in your opinion, what does it bring?
Okay, so for
Hell
me,
yeah.
it's 2 things. So, A, it's if you take like like I was saying, if you take a male that's like way outside of that line. So let's just say you take like something that's like pretty much heterogeneous, like Larry OG. Like it pretty much Larry OG comes out like Larry OG and Larry OG, and it's been going on for long enough to where it's like pretty heterogeneous, and like you're not going to have some like wacky like lemon, well, a little lemon in Larry. Hold on. You're not going to have like, you know, strawberry terps in it. You know, it's always going to be pretty gassy, like sour diesel. It's been long enough. But some of these things, like these brand new shits, like when you have a male from that's not stabilized in any type of way, that's how you can like make pheno hunts really difficult. So the easiest way to select a male is pick a male that's like somewhat next to what you're crossing it with. So if you have like pineapple punch or something like female, and you're like, hit it with something that's going to be somewhat similar to that, so that the hunt is easier either for you, and then you can do like an inbred line and then release beans or whatever, or for the next people that are like, I want those. And so make it easy. If you cross things that are way far out, like if you take like a Nepalese skunk, or like, let's just say you take an equatorial sativa and then cross it to like a ruderalis, like the hunt is going to be so fucking ridiculous because you've got like this far-reaching um, hunt and everything in between. So it's just easier to cross things that are closer together and make hunts easier for everyone, including yourself. For sure. I breed for terps mainly. All the weed that we have is going to get you high. You're going to get high if you smoke the weed that we have nowadays. So it really comes down to like what it tastes like for the majority of people. For the majority of growers, it comes down to like that, like the viability of it in the wholesale market or the retail market, but also like how easy it is to grow and cultivate, and propagate. That all matters too. But really, in the end, it comes down to what comes down to like the customer and what they want. And with Instagram and like the social media, like all the information you have, people are like, oh, I want to smoke that gas. And they like don't know what gas is. And so, but they really want like the hype shit. So it's like up to us to provide an easy way for them to get access to like the hypest genetics for like the working man. And that's like why I read this.
I'm always bummed about the hype genetics myself. I love a great strain, but I always bummed when they reach the hype platform of it all. It kind of bums me out a little bit. I don't
Fuck
know
that.
why.
I want ripcord. I want ripcord. I want people to get sick of ripcord. I want ripcord to be so prolific that everyone is like, and ripcord, man, I used to smoke that shit. Fuck that shit. That was like 2020, bro. Like, yeah, I want people to get sick of my strand, man. I said strand up. Yeah, I want people to be sick of my shit, you know? But they won't be because no one ever got sick of sour diesel. No one ever got sick of like these fucking like gassy strains, and I only breed gas. So like everyone gets sick of all the fruit shit. Like Tropicana cookies pops out. Boom. I was like, dang, son, like what the fuck is this? I was smoking, I was like, I'm sick of it now. Like, and so many strains. I get like Sunset Sherbet. When I first had access to Sunset, I was like, holy fuck. Got sick of it instantly. You know what I never got sick of? Like Fat Cell. Never got sick of that. Mochi Gelato, I don't think I can get sick of that. Chem Dog, Gorilla Glue 4, couldn't get sick of that. So there's some strains that are ubiquitous that like, and these are the drug type cultivars. Like, it's like, because that gas shit is like drug cultivars of cannabis. And fruit and all that shit doesn't remind people of doing drugs. And like, the real art and like the real culture of cannabis is like people that are getting fucked up.
I guess I should be a little bit more positive about it and see some of that as a little bit more towards like an open source learning or knowledge type thing. Is there's something good out there. Let people expand on it. You know what I mean, and take it to the next level. It's just that's kind of it, though. I just once you see a strain hit that one plateau there, it's everywhere. Now everybody's smoking it, and it's now being crossed with everything, and now it's just there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm
All
always
right,
in
so
the
sour diesel. So let's talk sour diesel. So yes, I get it. Like Blue Dream, right? That would be one of those ones. Blue Dream be like, oh, it's everywhere, and I'm sick of smoking Blue Dream. But people don't talk like that about sour diesel. Like to this day, like if somebody brought you a sack of sour right now, like real shit, man, you would drop kick your whole fucking stash in the dumpster for this fucking real sour. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers
real
still
sourdough. You
growing those
said it
cuts
though.
out here in Oregon. It's a gas. Real sour, bro. Yeah, no freaking lemon fruit. That shit smells like diesel fuel. Those cuts are right out here in this valley. It's crazy. The real chem dogs out here, you know.
And I agree with that. If you can get the reels, that's great. But somewhere along the lines, as they get popular, people trying to water them down, you know, BX them themselves, kind of do their own pheno hunting, take away from the original a little bit. I think Sour D is one of those ones
All
that,
right,
you
so
know,
it's
it
not the
came up.
popularity, but
It was just respected for
bro, it's
what it
not the
was, and taken
popularity.
care of.
It's not the popularity. It's people are fucking mixing that shit with other shit, mixing up cuts, putting out different shit. Like OG used to be OG, man, and like now it's like you do a pheno hunt of an OG, it's like, man, the terps are all over the fucking place because it's not OG. It got mixed up because when you're talking about like breeding drugs, then motherfuckers are high and shit when they're like doing this breeding and stuff. Like, I do my best to like, now that it's legal, frankly, like I can throw a whole plant out if I'm like, if I miss market, I'll be like, oh shit, I think, fuck that. I can throw the whole thing out. Back in the day, they couldn't do that shit, man. That'd be the whole season, So we have it differently now, and that's how we ended up with all these fucked up weird OGs and all these different sour diesel cuts and a whole bunch of fucking druggies, bro. Like, frankly, we're not botanists, man. We're like, most of us are just getting high first, and then trying to be botanists. Now, as I got older, I was able to focus on the botany more and be way more responsible than I could have ever been when I was younger. And so, as we see the maturation of the market and the maturation of our industry and the maturation of us, we're going to see higher standards in this industry, and I look forward to that big time. And I want to be part of those higher standards for sure, because I know I was part of the lowest standards possible in my youth. So thank God I didn't start a seed company when I was 15, because I would be completely delegitimized. But
I'm sure a smart guy like yourself would have naturally progressed and figured things out the right way. That's for sure. Just to keep on chat here and
it's what's
not too
happening.
far off subject, but Runboy 7426 would like to know your thoughts on reversing a clone, femmes only.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm feeling triggered right now. I don't do it. The only reason to reverse a clone would be in an emergency where you're like, I'm gonna lose this plant, and like the only way I can save these genetics for the future is this, and then you're not actually saving the genetics for the future. You're fucking destroying cannabis genetics for the future. I am not about reversing anything. I do proper breeding with a male and a female um, only, and the reason for it is this: I love cannabis. I love this plant, and I refuse to bastardize God's code that's built into these plants by spraying fucking poison on them to make them something that they're not. I would never do that. Yeah. Pretty passionate about not doing that, frankly. Yeah, you will never get fem seeds from me. You'll never get S1s, none of that shit. And then that's why you won't ever have to worry about herms in my shit. Or anyone's that crosses my shit with some other shit. So imagine this, like, so I make S1s and I release them, and somebody grows them and they're like, oh, I want to hit this with some pollen and make seeds because this is really dank pheno. And they didn't read in the small print that they're femmes, and then all of a sudden they release those seeds and they all herm and like destroy people's lives, kind of, you know, like it's kind of like if you release beans that herm, like you might harm somebody's whole greenhouse, bro, and starve people's families. Like, if motherfuckers don't understand about like how serious this shit is, like, they need to listen to this podcast and what we're fucking talking about. This shit is very, very, like, it's you can make someone's season, or you can really fuck someone's season up. And I take this very seriously, and I think about it when I release seeds. I'm like, man, like, you cannot release anything that would be anything less than like your best work. So because, like, imagine like a beautiful family, like a mother and a daughter, and like the father and like with a tractor and like these greenhouses and like chickens running around. Like, man, imagine like fucking them over, bro. That's like the scummiest shit ever.
So, with that being
That's
all being
why.
said, and I appreciate that, by the way, your stance on that, 100%. So, with that being said, I know like Breeder Steve and a few other breeders have, through natural selection, I want to point out, uh, have been able to put forth seeds that don't necessarily pollinate. You can't necessarily pollinate them. Do you think the same can be done through breeding with fem seeds? Can you breed out fem seeds from a regular stock?
Okay, so you can, but here's the thing in my experience, that you can, but you have to reproduce the conditions of that exact grow. So let's just say you do some herm breeding shit as yourself. Like, you're like, I do herm breeding, whatever. And you like you selectively find the ones that didn't herm, and you put them back in that same room and did the same thing. And even you run 3 generations up and you're like, wow, they don't herm for me. Bro, I'm telling you, as soon as you release those beans, and somebody's like, "Oh, I grew them under an LED and they hermed." It's like, "Well, I grew them under an HBS." Like, the stabilization process that people talk about are only viable in that environment. And as soon as those unstable, sexually unstable beings are released to the public, and different conditions than that area, it's going to be all over the fucking place. Yeah, absolutely. So stabilization, be it like sexual stabilization. And when I say stabilization, we never said stabilization meaning sexual stabilization, like as far as hermaphroditic traits. We never talk about that. We always talk about genetic stabilization, like, wow, they all come out the same. So this is like a new term, and people are like, oh, you're being stable. I'm like, bro, it's an F1. Like, there's going to be different feelings. What are you talking about? And they're like, oh, I meant terms. I'm like, oh, that's like a whole other term. Like, why would I breed cannabis and release beans that are like, I don't know if they're gonna be the sex they're supposed to be? Like, what the fuck? It's a world. It's a crazy world out there, bro.
It is. It is.
I'm
I
46
guess
years old.
before
Yep.
46, you're still young. You're still
Yeah.
young. Got 2 years on you yet.
Yeah.
48. Check it in 48 myself. Feeling pretty good about it
There
still.
you go. Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah. You're as young as you want to be. That's the way I see it. You know, I think I'm very
Yeah,
young at
cannabis
heart. I
keeps
was
us
telling.
young, man. Cannabis.
Oh, I definitely think that for sure. The American one in chat in the community. I don't know if he's in chat tonight, but he insists an edible a day will keep you young, or at least young looking. And I kind of believe that. It's because I look back at some of the people I went to school with that weren't necessarily cannabis users. And I'm just a cannabis user. I don't necessarily drink or mess around with anything, maybe occasional psilocybin, occasionally. But other than that, nothing. And I think I look a hell of a lot better than the people I went to school with. Just saying, all the people that didn't go down the straight cannabis
Yeah,
route.
man. If I wasn't hetero, I'd smash.
Funny, nice. Uh, so I was gonna fill you out here because there is questions coming in, and occasionally I have hit a couple, and without considering the fact if you're open to questions or if you just want to talk amongst ourselves, or are you open to questions?
I'm totally open to questions. Yeah, I'm an open book, homie. Yeah,
All right. Well, Run Boy
I do want to.
7426.
I want to. I want to have
Again,
a couple drags of
well,
tobacco real quick. So process like maybe load up a queue of comments and give me like 1 minute, and I'll be right back. I got to piss too.
yeah, no worries, brother. No worries. Go
Thanks
right
for these
ahead.
comments.
You guys got your questions? We get them lined up. That'd be all right. Boxers are brief. Jax wants to know. I'll get that in. That's a good one for him. Perfectly imperfected. Jack Green sock. The brushes 827. The bushes. I don't know where I got brushes from. The bushes. What's up? Welcome to the show. In the bushes 827. Write you in the book. Bushes 207. What's up, guys? Stony Creek, perfectly imperfect. Weed is 207. Got his wrench tonight because he deserves it. He is here holding it down every night. Modern Genetics got a wrench tonight as well. He came a long way in this show from actually being banned in the first days to saying he was sorry to definitely proving himself to be an asset in this community. So, Modern Genetics, you definitely deserve that wrench, my friend. Who's your cat daddy? What's up? Nice to see you in chat. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Hopefully you are enjoying things. Jack Simons. Hopefully I said that right. How you
Yeah,
doing?
be back. Man, this moon is gorgeous, man. I'm gonna harvest some pot tomorrow.
Is it nice out there? I didn't quite. It was raining when I came in. I didn't get to see it. The moon tonight. It was raining when I came home. I didn't get to see the moon. Pretty big where you are tonight.
Yeah, it's beautiful right now. Yeah, it's like this peach color, man. I'm gonna harvest tomorrow for some terps. It seems like a terp
Nice.
moon. Yep.
Well, they
You'll
say
be seeing
that
me
I've
cutting
heard
shit
that
down on Instagram tomorrow.
you're supposed to by the harvest moon. From what I've heard, it fattens up them trichomes, and if you don't
Oh
harvest
man, let's
tomorrow,
get
I've
it.
heard they'll
Go.
they'll
Let's talk about some of
deteriorate.
this fucking crazy witchcraft ass shit. Oh, I'm about it, dude. DEM pure, baby.
Well,
Dead pure fucking farming.
are you a believer in the full moon harvest and the planting around the full moons and
No,
all that?
no, I don't. No, I harvest when plants are ready, bro. But
Yeah.
when they're ready, I do take the moon into consideration when they're ready. So now here's my moon thing. Like I did this whole post on Instagram and I acted like I didn't have an opinion and shit, you know? And like I kind of didn't really at that time. I was like I was open to opinions uh so it was genuine. And so I was like, when do y'all harvest your cannabis? Like, we're going to have a full moon. It's a hunter moon, like hunter harvest moon. Like, let's get it. And man, motherfuckers growing cookies, crosses, and shit. There's no way that shit's ready. So, you know, then mids, you know, oh, but it was harvested on a full moon. It's mids facts. So, what you want to do is go to the next moon, really, on some strains. But for me, I had like some early girls. Like I'm growing this silver pearl times triangle kush that I talk about every time, every day, all the time on Instagram, and everybody's probably tired of hearing about it. But the shit's fire, and I'm hyped on it. And but it was like not ready. It was like it was ready, but it was like I want to let it go. Um, so outdoor is like this. It's like if you harvest it early, then if you want to hold on to it and like slang that shit in like August of next year or whatever, harvest your shit early so that as the trichomes oxidize in the totes, then it still looks good. But if you like really care about your weed, then like you harvest that shit when it's ready, and then you don't worry about like how long you have to hold on to that shit or whatever. So the weather is really good in the Rogue Valley right now. It's dry and beautiful and sunny and hot, and it's just bumping trites and terps, and just like they're swelling, and there's no reason to harvest right now. There's no like bud rot, like emergency, like panic harvest right now for the Rogue Valley where I'm at. So I'm letting him ride, and so yeah, so as far as the moon goes, like I am following the moon. Last night when I walked outside, I looked up and the moon was just like fucking beaming, beaming, beaming. And my plants were like praying in the moonlight, and I was like, all right, that's a light that I could never provide indoor, and they're hyped, and I'm like I'm so glad I didn't harvest on the full moon because they're still getting this waning moon. Like the day after the full moon, it's only slightly less than full. Think about it. That's a lot of fucking light. So the plants are getting light, but it's not light that's taking them out of flower. It's light that's like fostering flower and trichome production, I believe. I want to go on record and say, don't harvest on the full moon. Harvest on, in my opinion, halfway through, like between the full and new moon. Like once the moon is like no longer worth having around, so it's like halfway through, it's like more. Like right now, tomorrow I'm gonna harvest a gang of pop that's ready, and if it's not ready, I'll let it go into the next moon cycle. But so I do follow the moon cycle to a certain extent, but not like some religiously harvest moon witchcraft type shit. So hope that explains it.
I appreciate that too because I agree. If it's ready, then on the harvest moon, it only makes sense. But if it ain't ready, and me and Smiley were talking about this, I think it was last night. A lot of the outdoor that we both have seen has a lot longer to go. Uh, you know what I mean? So why would you be pulling
Absolutely.
down
No,
unless
it's
yeah,
harvested. Yeah, bud rot is a major issue. So you can lose your whole crop if the weather's bad. You can do everything right, and caterpillars just happen to take a shit in your bud, and then it fucking rains for 2 weeks. The caterpillar shit becomes mold, becomes botrytis. It starts to spread. You could lose your whole crop. You have to try to get something out of it. Like at that point, like, and I understand panic harvesting. We all have done it. Yeah, a helicopter flies over and you're like, you cut everything down, and you find out it was just like your uncle flying to a wedding or something. What? Like there's all these different reasons to harvest, and so for me, being 46 years old, having all these different excuses for harvesting, at this point, I'm like willing to let it go like further and even like off the cliff, like fine, like die on the vine. You know, I'll smoke that on myself in a couple months if I have to. So yeah, we have great weather. I don't think it's supposed to rain, and it's not going to rain on this side of the valley where I'm at, even until the 15th. So yeah, Rogue Valley people, let your shit ride. All your GMOs and your cookies, crosses, ice cream cakes, all your cakey stuff. Go ahead and get those nested calyxes. Let them fill out.
right on. Well, back to a couple questions here. Uh, Runboy 7426 says, so a natural male to a natural female has very low odds of procuring a Hermine. I want to say yes. That's your best bet of lowest rates for a Hermine, for sure. good genetics too.
Absolutely.
Good female
So, but
selections.
it depends on the parents. So if you have like a natural male and a natural female from a breeding project that was a natural male and a natural female, then you're going to like basically have no problem with hermaphroditic traits. All hermaphroditic traits come from improper breeding.
I agree with that 100%. 100%. So hopefully that answers your question, and it should have. Run Boy 7426 also would like to know your opinion on lighting spectrum.
Okay, so as far as lighting spectrum goes, emulate outdoor. So in the morning, the sun is a red spectrum. And then as the sun goes to the top in noon, it's more of like a blue spectrum. And then in the afternoon or in the evening, before it sets, it's an amber, like a red spectrum. So red and blue spectrum is technically the two we consider as spectrums. I said amber because I'm an artist and all hipstery about it. But there is a time where it is kind of an amber. But anyway, so you have blue and red. So ideal situation, emulate that. So if you want to do like the best with indoor, you would do like um, high pressure sodium in the morning, then switch to adding a metal halide, and then towards the end of the light cycle, go back to more of a high pressure sodium. And then that would emulate the natural light cycle of the sun. The thing that we can't emulate yet, I don't think anyone could really emulate the moon light, like because we don't really know what the moon is. We don't know if the moon has its own light source or if it's the sun shining off the moon and how to reproduce that. I think the future of cannabis is someone figuring out how to reproduce the moon part during the dark cycle of indoor, and then you will be able to really get close to like what we grow out here in Oregon, like as far as like the terps. It's insane, and I think the reason our outdoor is so good is because of the moon. Um, I know the moon affects things as a surfer, as a fisherman. Um, I fished and surfed around the moon. I know when there's a full moon, I get agitated, and how I channel that agitation really matters during the full moon. There's more of a pull in the full moon. So um, and so the light and then the pull, it definitely has an effect, and we have not even got anywhere near close enough to reproducing that indoors. And I think that would be a really fun project. If there are any multimillionaires out there, um, I'd love to try and get into that project. It'd be as easy as doing a tent side by side.
Nice. So Runboy 7426 finishes up his questions here by saying, "Great guest tonight. I like this cat." So, and I do too. Uh, Good call there, Runboy. He is a great guest. So,
Thanks, homie.
Jack Greenstock wants to know the running tension breaker question of the show: boxers or briefs? Yeah, it's a
Neither.
real question. Neither.
Moving forward.
Valid answer. Valid answer. There you go, Jack. I asked that. We throw that. Believe it or not, that is a question that in chat that gets asked a lot. It originally started with Breeder Steve. As I was going along, it was a pretty serious interview, and I thought, "Oh, they don't think I'll do this one, will they?" And I asked him, and it was funny. He cracked up. It was exactly what that interview needed at that point to kind of turn it into no shows, no shows. We'll take your word for that, there, brother. uh, There you go. That's tension breaker done. Yeah. Oh, natural, he says. That's fucking
Bush.
hilarious. You got him
Yeah.
cracking up now in chat. I don't know if you can
Trying to
see
answer
chat
your,
through here.
I care about your fans. I care about your fans and your guests and whatnot and your comments and being transparent. You know what I'm saying? So figured that would be the
Right
best
on.
way.
That's yeah. That's transparent as it gets right there. Chris Martinez
But
says,
yeah,
Chris, Eagle Gardens is Master Kush his in his sour Master Chem, the NorCal cut, or is it the Master Kush cut, the SoCal cut of Master Kush? If you can, if you got that.
it's the Oregon cut. Yeah, man. This is now we're talking because see, now we're getting into this whole Kush, like the right cut of Master Kush matters. Okay, because Master Kush is straight fucking gas. Okay, if you have the right cut, but if it's not, it's this fucking bananas ass Jack Terps bullshit. Who asked that question? Who asked that question? Because that motherfucker
Chris
needs to hit me up on
Martinez.
Instagram at Organarchit. I'm gonna send you a pack of fucking seeds for that question, bro. Hit me up on Instagram,
Nice.
Organarchist. Yeah, Master Kush. Yeah, that's what's up. So the Master Kush cut that was involved in the Sour Master Chem, so Sour Diesel Master Kush Chem Dog, that started this whole Ripcord project, which put me on the fucking map and even made me relevant in any way. Like that's the reason why we're talking, bro. It's like because that shit like was it's the thing and it's from somebody else. Um, but yeah, it's an Oregon cut. So Oregon had like some. This is how Oregon gets all the dankest cuts. Oregon grows more weight than SoCal, but SoCal has like all these indoor elites and shit. So the indoor elites, like they are like those motherfuckers like, hey, thanks for all those pounds of weed. Like, here's a cut of this, and then take that up and then bring those pounds down next season. You know what I'm saying? So like Oregon gets all the best cuts. We have the best sour diesel cut, still do. Best chem dog cut, still do. You know, the
So
master chem cut is gone. Okay, so I'll tell you that I not shit. That's gone, but
would
it's
you
in my
guys just
shit.
say
But
you
that
got
cut is gone.
would you say you guys have just a great environment to bring out the right phenols for selection there?
I would say it's two reasons, but the main reason is that some motherfucking real G's up here that like know soil biology and like can really bump out like big gardens, you know, and like in LA, like to have all those lights and all this shit, like that's one thing, and you can do a bunch of cool breeding, and you're like in close proximity to a bunch of people that are breeding. It's like close network, and you can like flip. Like it's harder for us to get cuts like up here, except for the fact that we have I-5 and like that I-5 connection to all the cuts is like what's happening now. So we have runts in Oregon, bro. Like like everywhere. Like we have all the cuts up north, like everywhere. I just didn't
And
have
again,
any of those cuts because I had no clout on Instagram. Nobody wanted. Everybody's like, "You ain't getting shit. You're not getting any these seeds. You're not getting any cuts. Nothing." You know, but for me, like I got a little bit of clout, and I was able to get some real cuts and genetics.
it shouldn't be about clout to me. It should be about if you're a genuine grower and you care for the plant, not necessarily clout. Clout is what fogs it, in my opinion. The clout is the problem, in my opinion. They're the ones that push these strains until they're like, oh, we've had it. I'm gonna take that cut and
Well,
like
let's talk about
fucking do
clout.
2,000 of them right out the bat. Just flood the market with the flower, and then I'm gonna flood the market with the strain because I can't get no more money out of the flower. And I don't know. I don't.
Well,
I,
let's
I
talk about
definitely have a
clout.
problem.
Like, let's talk about this. As far as like me, I was like in marketing, for 25 years, and like, what is clout? Like, clout's just a fucking term on Instagram that people that don't have it will use as a derogatory term for when people are trying to get a brand together and like have success in their life. So, what is clout really? It has like multiple terms, but clout really means to me in my heart is like impressions, you know, and to have multiple impressions when I'm doing something good, that's a good thing. So you want to see multiple impressions because you want to have an imprint on people's lives, and that's the influence thing, and to inspire people. That's good shit. That's hell like really good shit. And clout, it's like, you can like jump off a bridge and like slam your nuts into a cinder block or whatever for clout, and like, that's like, that'd be like the dirty version of it, and it's just like, what do you do with that shit at that point? But respect really it matters, and respect matters in every game. We're talking about fucking cannabis, like respect matters in cannabis. Respect matters in jujitsu. Respect matters in everything. Yeah, to be respected and to be a respectful person matters. That's an important thing, and that's really what clout would quote unquote really be. Is it really translates to respect, and I think it's a mismanaged term. And I think people fuck that shit up easily. Um, if you do something because you love it, and people are like, "Oh, you're doing that for the cloud," it's like, I don't ever hear that. I'm saying, I don't know, I'm just done with that part of things. So living my real life.
Yeah, I don't. I understand what you're saying there, but just because like you've got a little bit of a number or a following on Instagram doesn't necessarily, I don't know, justify the clout. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so
You
check this
mentioned.
out. So I wanted mochi gelato so bad. I wanted this cut. I wanted mochi. I was like, for so long, I was like reading. I was like, oh God, I want this mochi cut, and I could never get it. And then all of a sudden, I hit this cat up, and he was like, I was like, oh, I see you had like trays of mochi, and he was like, I got you. And then a week later, motherfucker knock on the door. I opened the door. This motherfucker was like, hey, here you go. And I was like, the fuck, what's up? And he was like, these are your mochi cuts. I was like, motherfuckers just dropped him off at my house. 2 weeks later, another motherfucker knocks on my door. I was like, what the fuck's this? He's like, hey, I brought you some mochi cuts. Knocking on my door, bringing me the cuts that I really wanted. Like, so it's building community. So here's the real truth about clout. Let's be real about it. Let's not get it fucking twisted. This is building community with each other. We've never been allowed to do this. We've never been allowed to talk about this. We've never talked about bringing each other cuts. That's like dry snitching. That's like much more than that. We have this opportunity now, and we need to grab this bull by the horns and fucking get it. Because we have a great opportunity. So fuck a clout. Like any of the younger growers and people that are like coming up right now that are hearing this, that are listening to this, like I don't have shit for genetics. I'm like growing bag seeds and like blowing it. Hit me the fuck up. I'll tighten you up as fuck. I'll do the best I can for you. Fuck yeah.
That's pretty awesome, brother. That's awesome of you. That shows again what a great person you are. You've done nothing but set a nice bar of a good person today. Just throwing that out there. Not trying to be an ass kissing host or nothing, but I'm genuinely impressed by the person
Oh,
on the
yeah,
other
man,
side of
it's
the
good, man.
screen tonight.
Love you, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It means a lot to me. I wasn't always a good person. I've been shitty before, but I try my best.
Run Boy
Next
wants to
question.
know. He's Run Boy is your question list tonight, I guess. He's wanting to know if you surf in Crescent City.
Scared. I'm scared of sharks now. I don't surf anymore. I spent a lot of my time surfing. I surfed so much of my life, and man, I just I can't do it anymore, man. I'm mountain man now. I'm not dry land. I don't like getting wet.
It's as honest as it gets. You know, I appreciate that. I'm not a fan of big water myself. Not necessarily because of sharks, but I guess it could be. It's just I don't know what the fuck's in there. I don't like dipping my feet under there, and
Well,
too unknown.
I surfed my fucking ass off for many years, man. I was all about it. Me and Mark Taylor and Jamie Anderson. They're probably gonna watch this. So Chewy Roberts, like yeah, Ben Eubanks, Fred Carpenter. Yeah, we had a whole crew, man. We surfed Outer Banks, North Carolina. Yeah, all about it. Shooting piers, fucking loved it. Surfing was my shit, man. Surfing is the coolest fucking sport ever. Like even like skateboarding is like to me like my favorite art form, but surfing is really it's a whole zen thing. It's like you disappear and it's all about the wave and yeah, surfing is yeah, I've done yoga and all that other shit. I smoked DMT, fucking all those different things and yeah, surfing's the highest art form in my opinion that I've experienced. It's like
It's
a
one thing
skate
I haven't
park that
got to do yet.
changes
Hopefully,
every second. Oh, dude, you got to try it. Like once you pump a wave, like so you like drop in, don't go straight, have it like crash over you. Like once you're like, oh, it breaks this way, and you like go, like it's some other shit, bro. It's like it's what kept me from doing drugs. Really, I was like, for so much of my life, I was like, nothing gets me as high as just there was just no drugs that did it for me like that. Yeah. Surfing is the shit. I'm over it, but you know, I highly suggest it for everyone else. All right, next
is
question.
it
What's
some
up?
one of them things though that you know you could use every so often just to light the fire, relight the fire a little bit, or is it just no, straight out, never good?
Oh, I'm staying dry. I'm skateboarding now. Yeah, fuck yeah. You know, 46-year-old skateboarder. That's on you, man.
Right
Old man.
on, right on. It's pretty awesome. You're still skating, by the way. I know I still get on bikes and fuck around a little bit from here to there, but not as much as I used to. I guess I just don't have the equipment to. I get on other people's stuff and play a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm always afraid to break somebody's shit when I'm trying to be a kid again.
You fucking with these
And
revolution
619 to
balance boards? You
what's
fucking
that?
with these yet?
Ooh, no, no, I haven't.
Oh,
No,
this is so
that's a
important
big
in your
board there,
life.
ain't it? The longboard.
Let's see if I can see what I got for you. Hold on a second. This might be entertaining. got? See what we got this year. Feeling me?
Yeah.
Man, you should get one, dude.
It looks pretty relaxing. Looks fun.
Fuck yeah.
Put you in that surfing feel in there a little bit.
You know what I'm saying, dude? Look. Yeah, you would love it, dude. Just get online and order one. They're like $150. Just like get it. Look, oh Steve's just easing my way. Yeah.
Closest thing I'll get to surfing around here in Michigan. I gotta get some
Dude,
good
I'm just sharing. Yeah. Man, you know what I'm saying, bro. See what I'm saying?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. That kind of shit.
I've always wanted to surf.
Revolution.
To be honest with you, someday. Revolution, huh?
Someday things are gonna get
From
easier.
619 to 664 wants to know, would you ever rock that Three Kings cut again, or is it a flavor in the past, in your opinion?
Three Kings?
Yeah.
Not sure what that is.
Let's see. That was the question. True. Would you ever rock that cut of Three Kings again, or is it the flavor of the past, in your opinion?
Yeah, I don't know what Three Kings is
So,
at all. Unless you're talking
it
about
must
Sour
be.
Master Cam. If that's like, oh man, that sounds like the Three Kings
Yeah.
because Sour Master Cam is truly the Three Kings of terps. And unfortunately,
Sour D,
like
OG,
the original
and
seed
Sour
stock.
OG. They're saying the Three Kings are Sour D, OG, and Sour OG. Sour D, OG, and then the Sour OG would
Yeah,
be the
just
Three
like
Kings.
what OG, like yeah. I mean, I don't like everything OG. Like I'm hella sus about it because like there's so much lies about OG. Like the original OG, like came from like this like 70s hippies type shit, and like it's all been so watered down. And by watered down, I mean crossed with other shit and mixed up and fucked up. Like, and I just, as far as breeding goes, like I just want to make it easy for people to pheno hunt. So I'm like really responsible, which really means I'm really like a hater on like all cuts. Like I'll tell you this, like my friend was like, "Oh, check out this Venom OG. Here's some cuts," and I was like, "Yeah, there's no Venom and there's no OG." I was like, terrible. So it's like mostly trash out there as far as OGs go. That's why I fuck with cookies more, because I got like super sick of the OGs that were so fake, and I was like, I can get like if I find a real OG and cross it to cookies, it'll be like really OG somehow. Like, yeah, that's why most OGs are garbage. Like banana OG, lemon OG, any any of the OGs out there now, even Ghost OG, anything with Larry OG is shit, frankly.
I've got some old OG seeds, old
Larry OG is
OG.
the only OG that's out there that's worth a fuck. Yeah.
They're probably at least 15 years old. I've been sitting on them until I can find a good way to crack them. But I definitely have some I'm looking to
Yeah,
crack.
as far as the Larry goes, the best thing to do with the Larry OG is just get a cut from somebody that really has the really gassy fucking Larry, and then hit it to something that you know is like always gas or always creamy, or like at least it just anything that's like not fruity, like ever, like whatever phenol, even if it like doesn't have very much terps at all, cross it to that. Because if you cross that Larry to anything that has any type of fruit or anything, it'll take over that gas and ruin it, like first try. Then you're in for a fucking 200 plant hunt to try and find anything near that Larry. Fucks it up. But there are people that have the real cut, and that shit is insane.
So, what do you have any plans to breed with anything new? I see
Yeah,
that now, 664.
you know, honestly, I'm gonna go backwards. Like, so, well, the only reason I'm gonna go backwards now is because I just crossed ripcord to like all of the Bay Area hype shit through my homie. So this is like the first time anyone's going to hear about this, but me and one of my really good buddies um, secretly clandestine started a seed company, and we're crossing ripcord, the ripcord male, to all of the Bay Area hype shit right now, like ice cream cake, biscotti, runts, everything. So ripcord being Sour Master Chem times Blissful Wizard, um, everything it touches turns to fucking gas. So my homie was like, dude, let's like collab and make a project and like give me a mail and I'll take all these fucking hype ass Bay Area cuts that are all like backdoor legitimacy and like let's bang it out. And so that's happening right now. Yeah, dude. So as far as what's the future, holy fucking shit, bro. Back crossing ripcord into the original ripcord F1, taking like the F2 and crossing that back into that. Then we're doing, I made ripcord 3, so I just took like, third generation of ripcord and crossed it back into itself. Those beads are available right now, coming. Yeah, it's on, dude. Yeah, it's crazy. Like runts is great, but it needs more fuel and cream, and we did that. Yeah. Left coast cultivars, motherfucker. That's my G. Yeah, we have big giant things
Nice,
coming.
nice.
Can't believe I even said that online right now. Like, I just busted my own nut. Like it's coming, dude. It just is anyway. So ain't shit anybody can do about it.
Now it's out there. You have to do it. You gotta put it. You put it out there into the ether. It's gotta
Oh
happen.
no, it's already,
It's gotta
the
happen.
beans already. The beans are already ready, bro. It's already coming. I just we got the packaging and it's on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, now's a good chance to, I guess, throw it out there. If anybody's looking for some of these genetics of yours, how do they find them? Yes. What's up, Yoda? Rose, Blake. What's up, man? You up late? Up early? On the two? How you doing, brother? So much about gas and fruit, but what about the effects? Bill says. I was telling my tattoo
Okay,
guy,
hold up. I
Blake,
gotta.
that you were looking for a tattoo. Yeah, no worries. Take your time, brother.
Yeah, I've got to present something to my friend. It's really special.
Thank you, World's Last Hope, for setting me up with tonight's guest, by the way. Appreciate that 100. Man. In this brother. Hopefully you're well too.
Soak that ass in here to say, you like you like you like you do, hot you don't have no shit, no company, come to who you want to when we hurt you like.
Yeah, buddy. Trying to get this audio popping.
Oh, I'm back. Cool.
There we go.
Good deal.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I had to serve up my homie a couple thousand.
Nice. Let me see what I got going here. Okay. Can't see the other me anyway, so I'll just shut this other camera off just in case. There we go.
that was over the top.
Yeah.
It finally
Cranking everybody up. Can you see chat?
That's insane. Dude, yeah, take a minute. That's my homie, man. Living good out here.
Nice. Is it his music or is you that something you guys are just rocking on over there?
Oh, that's just it's like a really gangster sounding song that, like, you know, when I'm making money, I like to listen to gangster shit.
Nothing wrong with that. So speaking of making money there, how do they get some of them seeds that you're talking about? I believe I asked you. I don't know if you answered that when I dropped out, but maybe you did.
Oh man, so as far as, like, you know, as far as making money, like, you know, I used to be a graphic designer, and like for 25 years with like the same company, and fucking lost my job to Rona and shit, and so now I'm just like going into breeding full time because I was like forced into it. Like, how am I gonna pay my bills and shit, and like sustain my farm and shit? You know, I'm not trying to like be a drug dealer, you know what I'm saying? Like, anymore. I'm 46 years old, you know, over that shit. So yeah, so just hit me up on Instagram. You know, like, it's legal to sell seeds. You know, I you know, for novelty purposes. You know, so it's totally legal to sell and buy seeds, and you know, it's up to you what you do with them. It's not up to me. So hit me up on Instagram, Organarchit.
Right on.
Yep.
Checking out.
Yeah, so that's how I'm going to sustain my life. You know, that's how I'm going to sustain my lifestyle on my farm.
Nothing wrong with that, and to help out a bunch of people grow some fire gear. So it's a win-win.
Man, really, that's the best thing. It's like that's a fucking win-win. It's a win-win. Like, imagine this being in like a state where you can't get really good weed, you know, and you're like smoking dirt and you're like smoking and you're like makes you sick and shit, you know, from smoking like terrible mold and everything. And you're like over it, you know, and you're like, I'm not trying to kill myself smoking something to relieve my, you know, pains and everything from the Babylon system, you know, and it's not fair that people should have to be subjected to like drug dealing and everything else, you know, just to have their medicine. That shit's fucked up. Like, you know, nice families and shit shouldn't be like, all right, honey, I'm gonna go and like go down to a bad neighborhood and buy pot, you know, from some sketchy people. That's fucked up. That's not right, you know. So, you know, to give seeds and get them out there to people, you know, feels really good to me. It's up to them to commit the crime and do the thing and whatever, but at least they have genetics that's worth risking. You grow a bag seed and fucking worms and fucking gives you anxiety. Some fuck shit. We're bigger than that. We're better than that.
Like I would
Next
invest
question.
in some of yours there. It sounds like you're very into quality breeding there. I would try some of it. That's for sure.
Well, if you're into Sour Master Chem times Blissful Lizard times Neat Breath, um, you know, I think we can
So
talk.
it sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, if you like
He
smoking
wants to.
gas, like some people are like, you know, some people love like fruit and everything, and like I may go into like hitting my gas shit with like fruit, like make like an orange creamsicle type thing. It's like diesel fuel and orange creamsicle, but I just want to solidify like the creamy, meaty chem terps to a level where like if I hit like fruit to it, it won't like fuck up everything that I've made. It'll just be like a little nuance and a note rather than like, man, I gotta breed out all this fuck shit to get to what I really want. So it's worth me doing the work. I live in a legal state. Um, I'm blessed to have, you know, no job and shit. So I'll just do all that shit.
It's nice being your own person there. I'm dropping your link to your Instagram here in chat. They were asking, what is your Instagram in case they wanted to get a hold of you. There it is. Ah, Smiley had already got me to it.
Yeah,
I hope that you see a lot of positive feedback from your episode tonight, both inquiries and genetics, and just uh, people hitting you up, wanting to give you a follow. Great dude. I'm glad I'm following. I was glad I
cool.
was nudged in your direction, for sure.
Well, this is
Thank you again.
world's last hope connected us. Bro. Like that motherfucker, like it was like, oh, this cat is running a podcast. It's super dope, and like I want to do a podcast, and he's like, go on this motherfucker shit, and I was like, I'm down. So, yeah, it was world last hope, man. Hook this up, basically.
Yeah, was trying to give him a shout out there myself. He jumped off last night a little bit early before I could give him a thank you for setting me up with you today, because it was a
Well, you
good,
talk,
good.
we got to shout out to the boys. That
Right on. He's saying you guys need to chat again. I don't know if you can see chat, but he's definitely suggested a couple of times in chat. You guys need to hit the DM and get some talking going for sure.
fuck yeah. All right, homie. Well, about out of here, man. I got to go shut down some chicken coops and shit and take care of some business. So appreciate you so much, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Hopefully, you can come back and drop some of that soil knowledge on us. We didn't even touch down that road yet, and I'll very much like to hear your opinions on what you've got to say there. I'm sure you've got a lot of good knowledge to drop on us there. So, if you're ever interested
Let's
in
do it.
coming back or get on another panel show, numbers are always the same. I appreciate you, coming on, doing your time. Greatly appreciated. I This is like an abrupt ending, so I'm kind of trying to get my P's and Q's in here. I also need to get my
Oh
soundbite
well,
from you.
no, let's run it. No,
Oh,
I'm just throwing that out there. Like I'm down to keep running it, bro. Like I just like let's get it. Like if you got mad questions and like you want to talk soil biology, I ain't got shit else to do, bro. Like we're good. Like
all
we don't
right.
have to end it now. Like I'm just being like throwing that out there. What you got, baby?
All right. Well, let's talk, man. This is all about you. Uh, yeah, let's talk some soil. They, I gotta get you. I am gonna grab the soundbite here before I forget. Seems to be like a good place to grab it. Do you know what the soundbite is? You may not. The soundbite is it marks your episode here, and it will be like your commercial.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
post
yeah.
these up on Instagram. You hopefully see them, but
All right. So now
you're
I got to be on soundbite tag. Tag.
yep. You got to be. This is like your. This will be recorded, and I will put this out as like your advertisement. So whenever you're ready.
All right. All right. So this is the Organarchist. I'm up on this podcast right now, trying to get it. Let's make it happen.
Nice. If you could
Terrible.
just maybe like plug the podcast. This is the Organicist,
I
Archist.
know.
I'm
I
on
was like, no.
fucking talking shit with Eagle, episode 198, something like that.
All
Get it?
right. All right. Ready?
Yep.
It's the Organarchist talking shit with Eagle. Let's get it. The homie.
There you go. 198. Perfect. All right, let's talk some soil, brother. Let's
That's
talk
like,
some soil.
all right. So, oh, let's get it. All right. So, talk indoor or outdoor, you know, which one? Like,
Well, they right
I
off
think
the
the best thing is to
get
ask me
back.
questions about.
They want to know about mixes right off the bat. That was the first question. Soil mixes.
Okay.
They
So
made
here's the
you.
deal. You can start with any soil. You start with any soil. Like you can go to like anywhere and just have a big pot of soil. And then that's your base, basically. And then everything that happens from there all happens from the top down. So this is what most people don't understand. And this is where like no-till comes in, and no-till makes no sense when you're talking about soil pots, because who would till a soil pot? Like fuck. But I'm going to try and make some sense of what this means. So you have a big soil pot, and then you have the top is like a mulch layer, and then as you go down from the top of the mulch layer, from the top of the soil where there's air, and then there's a mulch layer, and then it goes down in the soil, you have like this rhizosphere that you have like, basically it's like with cannabis, the top 18 inches is all that matters, and anything under that is basically, if you're growing from a seed, that's all like the tap root to bring water up. But the top 18 inches are like the air and nutrient roots, and that's where we want to really focus. So when you have a good mulch layer. So I don't do like necessarily like a cover crop. Whereas, you know, I understand the value of a cover crop because the root exits. But a good mulch layer is great because the worms that are right there in the first like 3 to 4 inches under the mulch, that's all castings. And when you water on top of that, it waters these worm castings deep into the soil. And like there's a lot of enzymes and a lot of things going on there. And that's how I grow like basically everything. The reason why I don't really mess with like a cover crop of like uh, clover and rye grass and all that stuff is because my plants usually get so big that they shade out the cover crop and it all dies back anyway. So I'm like, fine. So what I do is I take what used to be a cover crop and mulch that into my soil on top, and then everything goes through that. And that's basically how I do my soil layer. It's like a parfait. And I find that's the best way, because if you devote your whole grow to a cover crop and your plants get big enough to shade out the cover crop and it dies back, you basically have bare soil. So what the fuck are you gonna do then? You know, you're gonna have to import some type of a cover crop, or it's some type of mulch. So I just go straight for mulch, basically, with all of my growing. To remediate soil, absolutely, I'll throw a cover crop, totally. But typically for me, it's a mulch layer. It's alfalfa, and it's alfalfa that I've already fed to rabbits, and they pissed and shit on it, and they ate all the good stuff out of it, and there's just like nothing but sticks. And I just like take that into a wheelbarrow, move that to my beds, and mulch that on top. And that's how I do my like regenerative farming thing. It's really works better than anything else. Like native soil, like little raised bed, like the 18-inch thing, with some like nice aerated soil. Rice hulls helps. And then mulch that in with alfalfa, rabbit shit, piss, bedding. You win, you just do water only from there on out. No problem with CalMag, no nutrient deficiencies whatsoever. Totally closed loop, better than anything else. Next question.
Rabbit shit is something that is getting pushed around here in Michigan quite a bit. It's a definite good input as far as I'm ready to.
Oh, you're in Michigan?
Yeah, I'm in Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, no shit. Man, I got a homie out there that's got my Harambe cat and like mad shit out there, man. I got a homie that's like, I was testing all my genetics in the beginning, and we were old skate punk friends together, and he was like sending me pictures of his outdoor in Michigan. I was like, y'all busting it out in Michigan? And he was like, fuck yeah, bro. I was like, dang. So I sent him a gang of seeds, and he was just like, whoa, like blowing it up out there. Yeah, you're probably very close. Lansing? Anywhere near Lansing?
I head through there occasionally. I'm in northern Michigan.
Right.
About three
Yeah, I don't
quarters
know
of the way
shit
up the
about
bit
that.
there.
But
It's like there somewhere. So it's probably like 2 hours from Lansing. 2 hours to Lansing for me. Maybe 2.5.
oh, that's not far to
Not
get
bad.
ripcord cuts. Yeah, he's got ripcord
No.
F1, bro. Yeah, you're really close to ripcord F1 cuts. Yeah, you should get those. I can plug you on that.
Yeah,
You seem cool.
I would take them. I would take them if you make that happen. I'll always looking for some
If you
good
like
genetics
creamy
here.
graham cracker, yeah, if you like creamy graham cracker, Ken nail polish terps, then yeah, I can plug you on that.
Nice. Sounds
What are you
delicious.
smoking on right now? I'm
I
smoking
am
Silver
smoking
Pearl
on
times Triangle Cook.
a little bit of Beautiful Loser is what I'm smoking on. One of my own creations. Pretty fuely.
Nice, beautiful.
It's
What's the cross?
it is C9 or Winnie times Challenger Deep. Are the two crosses that are in there. Challenger Deep is Star Destroyer times Wizard's Glue, and Winnie is C99 times Durban Poison, and gets the bud structure from Mom there, the Challenger Deep, and it gets all the flavor profile from the dad, the Winnie, the C99 times Durban Poison. Really nice strain. Got a lot of compliments from it.
So the Durban poison, like, for me, like anytime I've crossed anything into Durban poison, it always came out as like Jack Terps, and it was like fucking whack as fuck. And so the Durban poison, like, I wonder, like, which cut that really is, and like, is it like the rubbery one?
I don't know. What I got
Or
out
is it
of
like
it was
piney,
more
pine-
grapefruit leaning. It's really like grapefruit kind of cheese is what I
nice?
get off the.
Oh,
And
dude,
it's
that sounds good. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this GMO real quick. I'm gonna pack up some GMO. Hold on, I'll be right back.
yeah, sure.
Entertain your guests. See if they got questions.
World's Last Hope. Cheers, Ned Denver. Modern Genetics. You guys got any questions? Perfectly Imperfected. I do see your question there. I will get to that. Stu Moo, out of here later. Stu Moo, hopefully you have a great day at work. Be safe, my friend. Run Boy 7426. I'll get to that question as well. So Run Boy 7426 would like to know, are chickens part of his composting? Uh, do you use chickens in your compost?
My chickens, I do like a long-term compost. So, like with the rabbit poop, rabbit shit is it's a cold compost. So, like it doesn't have to cook down and it won't burn plants. You can pretty much add it. You can grow plants right in rabbit shit, basically. Chicken shit, not the same. So, rabbits have like a pee hole and a poop hole. So it's different. Chickens have one hole. Everything comes out of that. So when it comes out of one hole, it's not as processed by that animal. So it has to be processed by biology. And the only way to do that is to mix it with the proper ratio of carbon to chicken shit and then time. So it has to be like turned and weighted, broken down. So I typically don't grow cannabis with rabbit shit. I mean, with chicken shit at all. But I do compost. I break down leaves with it, and then I use that to amend my soil for when I am ready to grow cannabis in the beginning of the season. So as soon as the leaves start to fall around now, I'll go around and I'll collect all leaves from around the neighborhood. So I'll just drive around and like people put the leaves on the side of the road. And in my area, people are really confident and are like not confident, they're conscious through that. But they're conscious about they have usually they're in paper bags. Like it's so great. So they'll put like all these leaves in these paper bags, and you just drive around, take these paper bags, put them in the back of your minivan. I go home, throw all these paper bags. The whole bag goes in my compost. Then I'll inoculate that shit with JDAM, JDAM, JMS, microbial solution. Spray it all down with that. Throw all kinds of chicken shit, whatever I have on top. Let that all break down. And then when I harvest my cannabis, I'll go in and do what's called silo tech. So I'll build like a silo around of wire on top of all my pots. And I'll take all those leaves and all the chicken shit and everything else, put it in there and leave it over winter. And then when I'm ready to plant it in the springtime, all that biology and all that humus is like broken down in that soil. It's like the best way to grow. So that's how I use chicken shit long term. Rabbit shit is quick term. Rabbit shit is like, I need nutrients, boom, you're ready. Chicken shit, it's the long haul. The longer chicken shit goes, the better. Rabbit shit, you can use it right away or grow right into it. So.
Dreamer77 Double D would like to know, do you believe in large number selections? And also, like a second part of that, what do you think of tissue culture?
As far as selections go, I go with like numbers, like good, like Tesla number increments. So like when I do a pheno hunt, it'll be like for breeding, it'll be like 33 plants. You know, that's usually what what I can handle, and it's a good number, 33. So as far as like how many plants do you need to like really do a good hunt, use numerology. You know, it helps a lot. If you can only hunt 3 plants, do that. That's fine. Hunt 6, hunt 9. You know, but hunt in you know, with Tesla in mind, as far as like the numbers. What was the second question?
What do you think of tissue culture?
Badass. I'm not like I'm not a like a sterile guy. I'm a sanitary guy. So I can like sanitary is different than sterile. And tissue culture requires sterility, and I don't really like not inspired to get into being sterile in any way. It goes against everything I believe in as far as like bacteria and beneficial organisms. Just not for me. But it is very important to be able to maintain these strands. strands. Um, because if somebody came up with something that's really good, we need to be able to preserve it. You know, we as little drug dealing cannabis breeders in the past, with everybody making fun of us and being like, oh, so, like now it matters. Like the person whoever has the best sour diesel, like somebody should tissue culture that shit. Like it should be in a seed. It should be in a bank of tissue. Like I really think we should really figure this out. I'm never going to, but someone should. Imagine having all these tissues cultured into a book, like, and you can have like all of the genes in like a photo album. Like, bro, I would so want that.
Well, that's what we kind of. Raptor Grow was on a episode here a couple of weeks ago, and he was showing everybody how they could do tissue culture at home on their own and be able to store that shit in your refrigerator. And he actually showed you how to
Yeah, I'm not gonna look.
repropagate it and everything.
I'm gonna keep crossing shit, doing it the way God intended. Got a male, got a female, keep bust, and that way it doesn't get stagnant. So here's the thing about tissue culture is the world's going around, and like these things are happening, right? They're moving, right? We're shooting through space, right? We have a planet, we have like a sun, and we have like a trajectory and all these things. So the problem for me with even with clones or tissue culture is we're holding on to the past, and to a certain extent that's good. But what happens is as we're spinning through space, like certain things are supposed to be left behind. We're supposed to be moving towards the future. So I've got this like dichotomy in my heart where I'm like, you know, I believe that we should record all these genetics. But at the same time, like, I'm not trying to do any of that shit. I'm trying to breed the next generation. Because when I grow old school genetics, I'm like, that's dope. But when I see the new shit that we've made now, man, it is dope. The nested calyxes that we've, like, really, if you really look at genetics, as far as structure of flower goes, the nested calyx is something that has changed the game in cannabis. And for me, in my breeding, like I shoot for that. Like after terps, it's all about nested calyxes. So beautiful.
So, Perfectly Imperfected was wanting to know about the rabbit shit again. He wanted to know if you could. I'm kind of. Here we go. Can you feed them bio waste from the garden plus the alfalfa feed? I don't see why not, but
Absolutely. Yes. You can feed the rabbits like basically anything. If you live in an agrarian area, you can basically like pick handfuls of grass and throw it in there, and then they will turn everything you feed them into a bioavailable nutrient for your plants. And you can bubble that shit in teas. You can take a handful of their shit and alfalfa and whatever's in there, bubble that in a 55-gallon drum with water, maybe a little molasses or whatever, in a tea bag brewer, and run a whole farm on that for free. Yep. Rabbits are a nutrient factory. Chickens are a long-term nutrient factory. Rabbits are like, I need newts now. Boom, right away. Yep. Chickens, I use the chickens like, I have a compost pile that all goes in there. With my rabbit waste, that all goes into pots, pop trust, right away. Boom, boom.
if you turned it into a tea, could you use it for a foliar and veg, or is it just dumping it into the soil?
I don't do a lot of foliars as far as like foliar feeding because my soil biology is so good that there's just no need to like foliar feed my plants. Um, the only time I foliar anything is as they're like finishing and they're starting to become weaker because they're like putting everything into finishing and they're basically dying and they know they're dying. That's when they'll get like PM or whatever, and then I'll just spray labs. That's it. I don't do any foliar feeding because I went to the redwoods and I was like, nobody foliar feeded the redwoods, and so I'm not doing that.
I get that. I can see that. I'm not a foliar feeder myself. I think it's putting moisture in the air, uh, humidity, stuff that could be avoided. I just see from bad things, bad things.
Well,
I know
it's
there's definitely
pointless.
benefits to
It's
it.
just pointless. Yeah, but why though? Like, why would you like have to spray newts on your plants if your soil is right. Okay, I'll just tell you right now, tiny little pots, bro, and their shit's locked out. So they have these tiny little pots, and they're like, oh wait, the only it's foliar fed them because their roots can't uptake anything, and the only way is to shove it in their fucking stomatas and shit. Yeah, it's foliar feeding it ever because my soil's on point and my plants aren't root bound and they're not locked out.
Well, I can see that. I mean, if your shit's on point, then why would you, you know, dump more shit on there? Less is better, right? You know.
Just
I
saying.
yeah,
I mean, wait. Let's see who
I could
comments.
see
This video is going to
if
be
you're
on YouTube for a long time, so. But it's just true, bro. Yeah, it's just true. People grow in like 7-gallon pots,
full.
and then like they're like, oh, why? Got to grow in
I
big
didn't mean to cut
pots.
you off. Yeah,
Oh, I don't feel
what
cut
I
off.
was
We're
just
good.
kind of say about the foliar though. If you're something's going wrong in your soil, locked out for one reason or another, a foliar can be in a pinch a quick way to get your plant back to health. But not, I don't feel it's like a necessary evil. Just something that you can utilize in a quick pinch for a quick repair to get till you get things going right in your soil. Nice compost tea or whatever in there. But I I don't care for the
I agree.
foliars myself.
To save your plants. Yeah. So exactly. So that's exactly what I'm saying. So like when people are like, oh, I'm going to do a foliar, it's like, what you said exactly. It's like the foliar is like, oh God, I'm going to lose my garden. I better spray uh, magnesium or calcium onto my leaves. And I'm not really even sure if we have like decided whether calcium and magnesium is able to be uptaken by the stomata of the plant yet. Like, I'm not. I think that's like open to discussion. I certainly don't know, but I'm not really sure. It might be witchcraft, you know. The one thing I know is this: when I grow in soil in the earth with a taproot, or even with a clone, and they're in the earth, in the ground, no pots, nothing. Um, Man, they find a way to get everything they need, and through that, they have this immunity to where it's like they don't have PM, they don't have any mold. Like it's fucking crazy, man. Like through illegal cannabis, I've grown in like pots for my whole life, and throughout my life, it was like really small pots. And as it became more legal and more legal, I was able to grow in bigger pots. And then once it got to a point where it's like it's kind of legal as fuck, I was like, no pots. And I'm having the best time growing cannabis in just native soil, like in my garden beds where I used to grow potatoes. It's like fucking potatoes, like with Corona and fires and everything. I was like, I'll put cannabis everywhere, and man, those plants are doing so well. So it's about the prohibition that's forced us into pots and not into regenerative native soil that's caused all of the problems with like russets or PM or botrytis or any of these things. It's really because we're not growing in native soil in rows that are spaced properly because of needs to pack it in to get the highest profit level for these clandestine cannabis operations because and look at what our economy looks like. So, you know, that's this shit is a weed. It's not really. It's not like growing a bonsai tree or something. It's like it's actually not that difficult, but only if it's not illegal. Then you can do, spread them out nice and wide. Not worry about so much.
We had another question here from Runboy7426 again. Can you explain nested calyx? That's what he wants.
Okay, so basically what that is a nested calyx is when the flower, like the base of the flower, like a calyx, comes out, and then there's a. Are you familiar with a resin rail? Like you ever see like resin rails, right? Or resin tacos when the early leaves that come out are just straight coated. And what happens is you'll have like a resin rail, a resin taco that comes out with the leaf, and then the calyx comes out and fills in, and it makes like this rosette. It's a really beautiful thing. Yeah, it's that all started. I'd never seen it until Cookie's genetics really was the beginning of that. I'd never seen it before that, and it surely is what I think is like the goal of the cannabis movement. It's a beautiful expression.
I wish I have caught it. I have not. I should. Wish I could catch it. What do we got here?
Oh, just run my ripcord. Ripcord 3 runs it, dude. Yeah, that's the business. I wish I could say that about the rest of my genetic stuff. Pardon me. Turks.
Tacos too. So you're talking here in chat here a little bit. Stacking calyxes. Do you do any KNF?
Fuck yeah. Okay, so as far as KNF, okay. KNF is not sustainable because I don't make brown sugar or any sugar, and I don't know how to, and nobody does. So fuck that. It's not sustainable. But luckily, I live in America, and I can buy a 5-gallon bucket of sugar for like $36. So I do, and then I have a gang of fucking fruit trees. So I can turn that like, let's just say $50 bucket of sugar into like $500 nudes because I have all this fruit for my trees. If I didn't have fruit trees and I bought the sugar, that's fucking hella sus as far as like sustainability. Like it's not sustainable. So if you like to have like a gang of sugar, and then you have a homie that has like a gang of fruit trees, and you like collab on the fruits, that's dope. But like, man, don't buy sugar because sugar farming is fucked up. Like, all of Florida is shit because of sugar farming, and like that shit's like the crack of the everyday. It's like horrible. Fuck sugar, But I will buy. I will buy. 5-gallon bucket of sugar because I have like, I have 7, 8 fruit trees in my backyard, so I can turn that into a lot of nutrients. So it's worth it. But I'm not going to buy food and deprive people of delicious food and fruits you know, to make nutrients. You know, that's some highbrow ass hypocrisy. Yeah. So
What if
KNF
it?
KNF is wrought with hypocrisy.
What if you're using the foods as they're wasted? You know what I mean? Not necessarily food that's being wasted out of anybody's mouth, but I mean, you got some fruits that aren't being wasted or going bad. You believe in fermenting them as teas and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Okay, so what I'm saying is this, like when we go to the store, like go to Whole Foods, right? Be like, oh, I'm gonna make a mango ferment. And we go buy like, you know, $80 worth of mangoes, right? And then we mix it with $40 worth of brown sugar, you know, like, and then we make feed that to our cannabis plants, right? And then all that turns into is like weed that people smoke. And that all that food and nutrients that could have gone to like sustaining people, like went into like drugs and shit. Man, that's fucked up. Like I do not support Korean natural farming in that way. Like if you're going to a fucking farmer's market and buying like all the best fruit and shit, and then like mixing it with brown sugar from fucking South American countries, and like you think you're being sustainable, then you're a fucking joke, bro. Like fuck that shit. Like I'm not saying you. Like I'm saying that tech is a joke. You know. Now, if you go to the back of Whole Foods, and like you go into their dumpster and you find boxes of bananas, and you fucking load that shit up into your van, and then you ferment that in some way, then it's worth it, totally. But you got to really think about this, like taking food away from people, like viable food, to be able to grow something that isn't food is actually hella fucked up.
I can see that uh, and appreciate that as well. I mean, if you're going to grow food,
I
you might
also
as well
grow more
use it
food
for
than
food.
cannabis. I
Pardon me?
grow
I
more
missed that
food than
last.
cannabis. I I grow more food than cannabis by weight every year, by far. Like so much more food, actual food, than cannabis every year, all the time.
Probably a lot better in health, that's for sure. Growing your own food, that's for sure.
Well,
Uh,
polyculture is what everyone talks about with like regenerative cannabis and like the whole lifestyle, It's like, well, weigh it out. Like, how much of this do you produce? How much of this do you produce? Like, what's the real deal? Like, what's really popping off on your farms? Like, what are you making happen? What's the What are the fruits of the tree?
fine. All right. I guess. I guess. So, World's Last Hope wants to
I'm
know,
not saying
how
I
is
get
taking
like
food
not get
to make medicine a bad thing?
how is what?
How is food taking food to make medicine a bad thing? Is what the question was there. If you're necessarily taking it to do something good, how is it a bad thing? I guess is basically the question.
Oh well, well. I'll say this: there's nothing bad about food and medicine at the highest level of health. Next question.
Okay. Uh, Let's see here. I think I'll just go for my questions instead of trying to hunt someone up for something else here. Um, so, how do you go about introducing microbes into your compost? How do you go about taking care of the living aspect of your soil?
Um, when you start with like in a brand new place, the main thing is a mulch layer, and really like in the beginning, it's like I would say like root exits are the best way to start a soil project. So like if you move to a new place and you're like it was just a bunch of like clay and like just shit soil, I think the first thing I would do is I would probably throw cover crop of like and see what takes. And so my first year I would be like like ryegrass, clovers of different uh, kinds, and I would just throw and just see what happens. And then it would probably like fail hella, and then I would go to like heavy mulching. So like deep mulching systems has from what I've seen because I learned this from the forest. When I went out to the redwoods, I would like dig down and I was like, why is this so badass? And it was like, whoa, it was like it just didn't stop with how rich it was. And I was like, it's all about mulch. So if I'm really honestly like alfalfa, cover everything with like 4 feet of alfalfa, spray it with JDAM, JMS, microbial solution, JMS. It's like, it's very simple. It's a fucking cooked potato on a sock, cooled off, and then a bunch of like really dope like pieces of wood chips that are all mycelium in the sock with stick over a 55-gallon drum. You like break it all up, it like bubbles up on its own. You just like spray that on your whole fucking field of like 3 feet deep of alfalfa. That shit will be gnarly in 2 years. You don't have to do shit. After that, done. You can grow anything in that soil. Yeah, that's how we saved the whole world. Like right there. Like it's that simple. You know, don't cancer dart me in the neck, jerks. But really, mulch everything in super deep. It's like the Ruth Stout method, but it's like Ruth Stout was close, but she wasn't J-damned, and then she was also all about hay. And hay and alfalfa are totally different. Alfalfa is totally mineralized. So when you have that breakdown, alfalfa breaks down, you're talking about a whole different thing than hay. Hay is like needs a bunch of chicken shit and everything. We're talking about way less nitrogen input with alfalfa, and then the resulting compost and soil is like it's like I would never mulch with hay ever, unless I was just like fucking around. There's like a corner of my area where I can just throw a bunch of hay, throw some onions in there and some chicken shit.
Nice.
How was that rant?
That was pretty good. That was good. Laying
Yeah,
down a lot of great
that's how
information here.
yeah, modern farming, bro. Easy. Alfalfa, the fuck of an area. Deep as fuck. Spray it with JDAM. Wait, plant into it. Do rows. You know, use all the material, all the carbon that's on top to cover up the weeds. Yeah, man, it's fucking easy as fuck. We can do
So
better with our farming.
I agree. It should be more sustainable. You know, we should be being more conscious and feeding, plants exactly what they needed, and being more conscious of what the soil's doing for sure.
Well, here's why. The bud tastes better, dude. Like salt nug, like it tastes flat as an organic farmer and like growing my own strains and like all the shit. Like I'll just tell you, like it's I do this for a reason. If salt made better weed, and I would do that. You know, I've already done all that. Man, like 6 year native soil taproot in the ground, terps, it melts faces. You know? It's all I want to smoke. If it wasn't, I would do it another way. Simple as that. Like I'd be busting Rockwell fucking labs out, you know? Yeah, all day long. Fuck that, man. The terps are flat, like salt-based terps. It's not getting it for me because the root exits, and the way the plant, when a cannabis plant goes into flower, it puts out certain sugars, and then the biology of the soil responds to those sugars and gives the plant exactly what it needs at that time when it asks for it. And we can never know when to turn that on with hydro. Um, it's just not possible. Like,
They want to know if you do your mulching indoors as well. I don't see why not.
absolutely, absolutely. So here's how I roll. So I have 45-gallon smart pots. Um, here's why: 45-gallon smart pot. I can pick one of those up myself. So as long as it's not like I don't water it and then try and like when it dries out a little bit and it's lighter, water is very heavy. But I can move a 45-gallon smart pot. So what I do is I take my 45s and I move them indoor and outdoor and indoor and outdoor and indoor and outdoor season after season. Um, so I have like right now I'm like breeding in like it's like it's like sixth cycle, like five, at least I don't want to exaggerate. So let's just say fifth cycle, 45s. Yep. Anything less than 45, you can't do really no till because the roots, like with outside, it really like the roots are prolific. So you gotta whack the plant off, and then you gotta break all those roots down. So you gotta hit it with like hella nitrogen, and then it'll compost the roots. And it gets too hot to put plants in there really. So you gotta wait for it to like all break down. So that's like a long process. But so for like during summertime, like full cycle outdoor, by the time like the plant's ready to harvest, like right now, so it's October, so it'll take me, let's see, yeah, till the end of December to like break all those roots down and have that pot ready to go to like grow in it. And I've done that for 6 cycles.
Do you amend your soil when you using it from indoors? Do you take it out and amend it, or you just keep going with it?
Yeah, I amend it with the rabbit shit and alfalfa teas. So I'll just heavily top dress, you know, like with it and even brew teas and just like because I got to break down all those roots and turn that back into humus, you know, and or else it's just like bones in the soil. You know? Turn that back into humus. There's plenty of carbon in those roots. It just takes nitrogen and microbes to bring that back. And time.
So, do you want to throw out any like plant training techniques that that you use? Do you use any? Do you like to let them go up au naturel? Do you train them at all?
Well, so for outside, as far as training my plants, I get 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts. I live on a cattle ranch and I have pretty good sun, so that's good. But I get a lot of wind, and so I build very strong structures, and I basically do this outdoor scrog type of thing. Um, but as far as like for the average grower, like I want to share this with everyone. I learned this from my. I had a volunteer plant that came up outside, and it broke off, and there's a compound called auxins that happens when plants are damaged, and I highly suggest if you're an indoor grower to like break, you like not break this, but like bend the stem enough, uh, and then fold it over a little bit. You will be so hyped with the results of that as an indoor grower. As a big outdoor grower, you don't really have to worry about that too much because you're going to get plenty and it's all good. But indoor growers, like, yeah, auxins, it's called. It's a hormone in plants, and you will love this tech.
So, I like to use it a lot in flowering. I like to go in and like pop that stem in between nodes a little bit. Uh, so go ahead and maybe tell me why that might be beneficial in flower there. I've always kind of thought it may be for in watering instances, it's like creating like a dam for like not to go back, just kind of force it out uh, at each one of them bumps. Uh, your thoughts on
Well, it's
you
auxin.
know
It's a hormone. Yeah, it's a hormone release. It's the plant. Um, so what happens is when a plant is under duress, it sends out certain hormones um, to try and save it. And so when a plant isn't pollinated, it's like, wait, I'm under duress. I'm not pollinated. Like, uh, it throws out different hormones and different resolutions to these problems that it thinks it's having. And for us, we're like, that is not a problem that you turn purple. That's dope. And that's not a problem that you're like super dense. Like the plant is trying to reproduce. So what we have to always remember is this. Uh, cannabis plants that are not pollinated yet are, and I'd say yet because cannabis plants think they're going to be pollinated. So as they're going through their life cycle, like when I'm not pollinated, but I will be soon. It's like going to the ball. Homie. I don't know, but I'm gonna have a little tobacco on is breaking. What do you think? Is it good so far?
The show?
Yeah.
Of course, man. So,
No, I'm just wondering. Dude, you want to help me harvest tomorrow?
For sure. Talking to me, right?
Taking a piss. Just taking a piss, homie. There we go. Yeah, I had to take a piss. What up? I got no audio. Why don't I have video? Why don't I have audio? That's fucked up. All right, you get it. Yeah.
But yeah. Now can you hear me? I bet. I bet you can hear me now. What a fucky fuck. Trying to get my computer come back on. I'm trying